Okay, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back here on EP09 Bodybuilding. We are now about to witness 2026 Arnold Classic Men's Open Finals. Also, tonight we will see the Bikini Finals as well as the Men's Physique Finals. You guys, after what we witnessed yesterday between Nick Walker, Andrew Jack, Hadi Chupin, and Martin Fitzwater, this is shaping up to be one hell of a show, and there's many reasons behind that. Let a few more people jump into the chat, jump into the stream. Appreciate all you guys being here. And I also want to encourage you guys to go to arnoldsports.com and sign up for the stream there. It's a free stream. All you need to do is register, but it helps the Arnold Classic by doing that. So I want you guys to go to the stream at arnoldsports.com, watch along with me there, and that supports the show. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel here as well. What's going on, everybody? You have to resize this slightly. Worked on a new template today I was quite happy with. Haha, he said the host of Strength and Power. He doesn't even know it's Nick Strength and Power, the other commentator. That's hilarious. 1.38 million subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. Does not know the name of his channel. I'd like him to tell me how many Sandows Phil Heath won. Should have hired me. Neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. Good evening, everybody. For those of you that are joining me from the stream again, that were here yesterday, appreciate you guys coming back. And this is going to shape up to be one hell of a show. So I'm going to unpin this message. Very good. Make sure you get your vote into the poll. Who will win the 2026 Arnold Classic as of right now? 73% in favor of Nick Walker taking home the win. Andrew Jack with 18%. Hadi Chupin jumping up, okay, 10%, and Andrew with 17%. These numbers are moving fast. When the stream first opens up, these numbers usually move pretty quick. But Nick Walker with the overwhelming majority as of right now. Very early in the poll, granted. But a lot of people were impressed with Nick Walker. Very impressed when it comes to Nick Walker yesterday. And the reason behind that is conditioning. Nick Walker showed up with superior conditioning to everybody on that Arnold Classic stage. He was the most conditioned athlete. Also bursting full. He was very well balanced. The biggest difference being the lower body, both in front and the back. Nobody on that stage even came close to Nick Walker when it comes to those dugout hamstrings, that quad detail. Nobody even came close. Not Andrew Jack, not Hadi Chupin, certainly not Martin Fitzwater. Now, we'll talk about what happened with Martin here shortly. But I want to hear from you guys as well. Make sure you get into the chat. Feel free to leave me a super chat if you so choose. And like I said, go to arnoldsports.com in order to support the main stream. You can register there for free. This is a free stream. And thank you very much for the Arnold Classic for doing that for us fans of bodybuilding. Sean Turner 7064. According to Seth Feroci, it's not even close. Nick Walker was shredded out of his tree. They were 4 rows back. Yeah, I saw that video, actually. I did see that. And there was no hesitation when it came to Seth giving that opinion. No hesitation whatsoever. He was very confident in his stance that Nick Walker is ahead after prejudging. And Nick was really being placed, I think, in the 3rd to 4th place spot. Not as many, but 5th place was floating around as well. But certainly nobody had him in contention for very few for top 2, and even fewer that thought Nick Walker could actually win this show. But the reality is, there is a potential path to victory for Nick Walker at this point. And this is what we've been saying about Nick Walker for quite some time. No, he is not the most shapely bodybuilder. He will never be the most shapely bodybuilder. He tried to be the most shapely bodybuilder at one point when he did the Arnold Classic 2023. It did not work for him. He has embraced the mutant freak factor, and this is the best version of Nick Walker, I think, that we've seen in Quite some time. Quite some time. Many people feel that Nick Walker's 2021 Arnold Classic was his pinnacle when it comes to his physique. But for what we have here now, we were talking about the path to victory for Nick Walker. And the path to victory for Nick has been well known in bodybuilding for quite some time. Nick has to come in ultra shredded. Nick has to be conditioned, which usually is not a problem for Nick. So he brings that really freaky conditioning. The other factor is out of his hands entirely. The other factor depends on the other athletes in the show. Nick's path to victory is solely dependent, not solely, but partly dependent on the other athletes showing up and not being at 100%. When other athletes show up and they are lacking conditioning, this is where Nick Walker can make some serious ground up. And that's exactly what I think we saw at the prejudging. Let's talk about Andrew Jacked. Andrew showed up, I think, in fantastic shape. Fantastic shape. Every bit as good of what we saw at the Olympia, every bit of good of what we saw at the Romania. Andrew was great. But Andrew did get exposed by Nick when it came to conditioning in the lower body. But Andrew, being arguably the most shapely bodybuilder in the IFBB Pro League right now, and given the fact that this is the Arnold Classic and that being more shapely is rewarded here, in my opinion, Andrew has a serious path to victory for himself, because that's one of Andrew's paths to victory. He does not have to be the most shredded guy on stage in order to win. But he does have to bring enough conditioning, and he does need to make sure that he's bursting full. He can't have any gaps in his physique when it comes to being any kind of flat. He has to have that in order to have that roundness. Did Andrew accomplish that last night? Yeah, I think he did. I think he certainly did. Hadi not showing up with his trademark extremely razor-sharp conditioning. I saw a comparison going around online of Hadi 2024 Arnold Classic versus 2026 Arnold Classic. And it was very noticeable that Hadi was much better conditioned when he took home this title himself in 2024. However, that does leave some room for these guys to make up some ground. Because when you think about Nick, what ground can he really make up? Bill Heath himself yesterday, post-prejudging, actually said Nick doesn't really need to do anything. And it's true. I think that Nick doesn't really have anywhere to go, and he probably has the most risk of showing up looking, I don't want to say less, but even if he shows up as good at finals as what he did at the prejudging, the fact of the matter is, Hadi Chupin, Andrew Jacked, and certainly Martin Fitzwater, we'll talk about Martin, like I said, in a minute, have an opportunity to show up in better shape than what they were at the prejudging. So the judges are going to see progression from one night to the other, and sometimes that can work in an athlete's favor as compared to somebody that shows up in at their best, but progression sometimes can be a factor when it comes to prejudging versus finals and making progression from one to another, right? I mean, these judges are human at the end of the day. Before we talk about Martin, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Again, appreciate all you guys making your way into the chat. And I know that I spoke for quite some time, but we're just waiting for the competitors to actually make their way to the stage. As of right now, we'll talk about what happened at prejudging. And if you guys want to talk about Classic, we'll talk about some Classic as well. Wesley Vissers with a fantastic victory, very well deserved. My understanding is that Mike Sommerfeld was at the Expo today, so I don't know if anybody spoke with him. I'm trying to find out some information now. We'll see if we can find anything further as to why exactly he did not get the memo that he was going to be heighted again and that he would be an inch too tall. But regardless, Axelin's a great video and sound. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see. Martin Sweatwater. Yeah, that's been going around. Martin was sweating so profusely. We'll talk about Martin. Philly Vinley 2-6. Nick did look phenomenal, yes, but his gut distension was incredibly distracting and off-putting. Hard to give that a pass. I don't think that he has to get a pass for his midsection being bad. I don't think that's. I don't think he has need. I don't think he needs that pass. I had Nick second, but then I had Martin as one. Fair enough. Fair enough, Donald Pump. Appreciate you being here, brother. Let me say right away that the waist and the overall silhouette play a huge role, especially even without looking. It gets top 4 in the all frontal poses. Hope you understand who I'm talking about. Look, Andrew is the most shapely in bodybuilding. No question. And it could end up winning him the title. Like I said, he doesn't have to be the most conditioned guy. Nick's shape just not there for me. Front doubles and abs and thigh just not great. I think he actually does a decent job controlling his midsection when he's actually in the pose of the front double. His midsection actually looks not bad. You know, I don't want to say great, or I don't even know, want to say good. I would go as far as to say it's good. You have to watch him hit the shot again, okay? And look at him just in the pose. But I mean, it doesn't really matter because he's going up against Andrew Jack in the front double, and Andrew's just too aesthetic in that front double because Andrew filled in some gaps in that pose over the last year, I would say. Andrew looks good every pose. Andrew looks good every pose. I think his side chest could still use some work. I think he could use some work on his side chest, but you're not wrong about 7 out of 8. I would say that. Now, the class act of Andrew coming in with raise the roof gesture, smug look on his face, touching other competitors, wrestling with Hadi on stage. Not a fan of Andrew Jack. I'm actually disappointed with the whole lineup. You know, there was some conversation that we had last night for those of you that were here in the stream. And I think that... well, there was one comment made, I believe it was by one of our moderators, Black Patron, that said, I bet you Arnold is disappointed in the caliber of lineup that he has at this show. And I wonder how he feels about giving away $750,000 to someone in this lineup. Excuse me. And it is interesting to think about it in that way. Oh, it is interesting to look at it in that. At the end of the day, this was an invitational, so hey, nobody showed up except for who he signed off on. That's for sure. Hey, Brian Mathis 357, how's it going, brother? Thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys being here. Johnny Spudge 9218, the best bodybuilding chinning, just not on enough. Yeah, listen, I'm back, brother. Okay, I'm going to be posting regularly now, so make sure you stay tuned. We're going to be doing podcasts. We're going to be doing news videos. We're going to get back at it. Appreciate you saying that, though. At the same time, in all the frontal poses, the last one, the overall silhouette and waist are terrible, except for the masculine pose. So I missed part of that conversation. So Andrew can come in and win tonight, just like the others, in my opinion. It's too close. Yeah, Jack, you're right. I mean, Andrew absolutely could. I think that Nick has a clear path to victory right now, as does Andrew. Hadi needs to come in, I think, with better conditioning. I actually think it did hurt him at the prejudging. Now, Martin, on the other hand, Martin was nothing short of a complete mess, in my opinion. Okay, a complete mess. And that's being completely honest with you guys about how I felt about Martin Fitzwater's performance at the Arnold Classic. He did not have the detail that we saw at the last time he was at the Prague Pro, not even close. Typically, we see really stripped out hamstrings and shredded glutes from Martin. We didn't see it. The quads, you had feathering in the teardrops, but I didn't see a lot of other feathering, which we were expecting based on the few updates we did get going into the show. Just overall, Martin, especially, like I said, after that Prague Pro, seeing what he could be capable of, he did not bring that to this show. And then sweating profusely every time he was on stage. I mean, in my opinion, 4th place might be a gift because I think Brandon Curry is better than Martin Fitzwater here. But this is one thing that we need to see happen tonight, and I think you guys will agree with me on this. We need to see Martin Fitzwater stand next to Brandon Curry. We need to see that comparison. If we do not, there will be a question mark at the end of this competition aside from when we actually go and see the comparisons done by guys like Superset Man, Marks Max Muscle. I mean, these guys are masters in that space, right? So that's post-show, though. The show is happening now, and Brandon, in fairness, is a two-time Arnold champion. You could look at it like this. He deserves to be compared for that fourth place spot. I mean, he brought a physique that is reminiscent of someone that would take a fourth place spot, I believe, in this lineup. So I really hope we do see that comparison tonight. I think that Brandon deserves it, and I think Brandon has a legitimate shot at beating Martin Fitzwater, given the fact that I think he is more shapely in certain shots and he was better conditioned. Give him the shot. That's what I say. What do you guys think? Should Brandon Curry be compared to Martin Fitzwater? I think he absolutely should. Again, looking at the poll, make sure you guys get in your vote. Who will win the 2026 Arnold Classic? Currently at 306 votes and counting. Nick Walker with 59% of the vote so far. Andrew Jack trailing with 22%. Fairly close behind being Hadi Chupin at 18%. So, as of right now, according to you guys, Nick Walker. And remember, this is who you think will win the Arnold Classic, okay? Who we want to win and who we think will win sometimes can get blurred a little bit. But I do want to know who you guys think will win. I actually do agree that, like I said, well, like I explained, Nick does have a legitimate path to victory. And I think it will partly depend on what the guys show up like tonight. Because if everybody else does show up with better conditioning, with Hadi, with Andrew, with Martin, that's not going to help Nick's cause. Because I don't think he has much more that he can really do to improve on what we saw at the prejudging. So that is partly going to determine whether or not Nick Walker is going to have that legit path to victory. But I do think at minimum, after what we saw at prejudging, he deserves second place. At minimum, I think right now he's earned that, honestly. What do you guys think? They will have the men's physique finals tonight as well, and the bikini finals. But as you guys can see, 10 to 12 people per category. Something that will go, I think, fairly quickly. And look, like I said, we have lots to talk about. Here on my mic. We have lots to talk about between now and then, that's for sure. And some of these men's physique guys are huge, dude. I mean, it's a better division than what it was when it first started. That we can say 100%. But look, let's see what you guys are saying. Get into the chat. There we go. I can scroll up now. I don't know if it's typical, but why is 4 guys on stage and not 5? That is up to the judge's discretion. The head judge, I believe, gets to decide how many people come out for comparisons. So Steve Weinberger, I guess, just decided that it was going to be 4. That's the best I can figure. Nick is hugely more popular. Yeah, I think Nick is, don't quote me, 1.8 million followers on Instagram. He gets a lot of views on his YouTube videos too. Nick doesn't really make content much different than what other IFBB pros do when it comes to YouTube content. Film himself in his car. He'll film himself when he's at the gym. Well, he has a camera person, but Raj, I think his name is, does a great job, either way. Nick, I think, does have a certain amount of charisma when it comes to being on camera as compared to other guys, but I don't know if it's charisma or just that he seems, likable because he's very, very motivational, but still kind of low-key, I don't know. But we won't dive into that too much, but yeah, Nick gets a lot of views on YouTube as well. Nick gets a lot of views, compared to some of the other guys out there. Rizzo does well as, well. Somebody actually floated the question of what if Rizzo was in this lineup last night. I really can't say. I don't know. I can't say. You guys let me know what you think. W2F is Gym Reapers. Is it the new tap out? There's a lot of big athletes that are sponsored by Gym Reapers. There's a lot. But at the end of the day, Gym Reapers decided to put up the money. to be the #1 sponsor for the Arnold Classic. So, hey, good on them. Must be making it. I actually, funny. I have a set of Jim Reaper wristbands. They were $20 on Amazon and they're really good quality. So, yeah, I recommend them. Not sponsored by them, but yeah, they're awesome. Kane6529, welcome back, brother. I don't even like Nick's physique and had Andrew winning the Olympia, but I have eyes Nick won the prejudging. I tend to agree. Yeah, I tend to agree. They did not put Nick in the center. Well, they did when it came to the second call-out, but you're right. They did not put him in the center in the first call-out. But that's one of the things about these four-man call-outs as well. You don't necessarily need to be in the center when it comes to being compared to the top guys in the lineup, because Nick did stand next to Hadi and he did stand next to Andrew. And maybe that was enough for the judges to say, we don't need to put Nick in the center. Now, us as fans, it comes as a massive indicator when somebody is put in the center, of course. And generally, that's how bodybuilding shows are. But when it comes to a four-man call-out, it's not necessarily as much of a detraction, I guess you would say, as what you may perceive. Remember, it's four. You would make note of the fact that Martin Fitzwater wasn't in the center for most of it, right? Because the guy was sweating bullets was one thing. I mean, it really hurt him because his tan wasn't dark enough to begin with. So that's an improvement that Martin could make tonight. No one has been screwed over more than Nick. Nick has been argued to be screwed over quite a bit in the past. Yeah, we were actually talking about that. Some of us YouTubers, myself, Superset Man, Project Bodybuilding, Jake Ultimate Fitness is in there, Marks Max Muscle, Xavier Wills. We have a chat on Instagram, and we were actually talking about that earlier. Andrew is off. Faris Shahid, welcome back, brother. Says Andrew is off conditioning wise and fullness wise. I think Andrew was full enough, actually. I think he was full enough, but I do agree that conditioning wise, no, this is not what we were expecting from Andrew Jacked. We were expecting better. If Nick wins, that's a win for freakiness at least, which is favored by a lot of people. Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, Nick knows what he is, and Nick knows what he brings. Nick is a big, freaky guy that definitely has a place in professional bodybuilding, okay? I want to make that clear. The mass monsters do have a legitimate place in bodybuilding, okay? And Nick Walker is right up there because there are those of us that just really love the freak factor. No, I'm one of them. It's one of my personal favorite physiques is these guys like the Nick Walkers, the Michael Krizzos. I mean, guys are ridiculous, man. You know, it's just very impressive. But again, the gifts that Andrew Jacked has might not be enough for Nick's freak factor and superior conditioning to pull him ahead. Jack says, I think Nick can win, but his structure is not as good as Hadi, much less Andrew. Absolutely. Absolutely agree. Even when off, it's still on par with Romania and the Olympia look. I do think that it's still enough for Andrew to win this Arnold Classic. Like I said, he does have a legit path to victory right now without doing anything else. He still might win the show. Comes in improved. It'll increase his chances, I think, more than Hadi. You know, I think if Andrew comes in better and Hadi comes in better, I still think that it's in Andrew's favor that he's going to place higher than Hadi right now. You guys let me know what you think about that. Black Patron, welcome back. Nick was good. Still a damn shame that his midsection still blown out compared to his 2021 and 2022 look. Yeah, Nick Walker's 2021 physique was ridiculous, you know, and it was underappreciated until I think late 2025 to now. You know, I think it was an underappreciated physique because I think we were all expecting Nick to show up improved pretty much every time he hit the stage, I think is fair to say was the expectation for Nick Walker. Once he wasn't able to really bring up the legs significantly in, I guess, what you would call a shorter period of time, in terms of the expectations from the fans and other industry experts, legs just didn't keep on par with the progress of the upper body. And that kind of stalled things for Nick. Back in 2021, that wasn't the case. He was balanced, his midsection was tighter, he still had that crazy conditioning. He won this show in 2021. You know? It would be very interesting for Nick to win it 5 years later. I don't know how many Arnold Classic champions would be able to say that they did that. I mean, I know there's guys that probably could. Because Dexter Jackson won like 5 of them, right? So that's 5 years there. If they were all one after another. But regardless, still, that's quite an amount of time if Nick does end up winning that. 5 years later? That would be quite an accomplishment. When will the Open final start? Well, we don't know exactly what time it's going to start, but there are 3 categories right now that we have to see on stage. We have the finals for bikini, we have the finals for men's physique, and we have the finals then for the men's Open. The Arnold is very well run. I will say that. They do keep, sometimes they don't always start on time, but having the amount of competitors that they have is something that allows them to really move the show, I think, at a good pace for the athletes, for the fans. You know, there's not bombarded by 20, 30, 40 competitors in one category. It really does make a big difference. It's one of my favorite shows to watch just as a fan of bodybuilding. I feel if you stand out enough, you don't need to worry about getting screwed over. Well, that is one of the ways that you can ensure your path to victory is to show up absolutely undeniable. To a point, though. To a point. I'll refresh my stream. No problem. Even showing up and being undeniable, having very few flaws, and just being able to say that there's no improvements further that you could have made, you still need to stand next to a guy like Andrew Jack in this case, and that's not always going to be the case. I just refreshed my stream, so I think I'm right where I need to be. YouTube might lag behind itself, by a few seconds as well. So keep that in mind, guys. But they're still doing the intro is what I have here on the live stream. Again, make sure you guys go to arnoldsports.com, register for the live stream, and make sure you guys support the show. It is a free live stream, so it is important to support these shows. Putting on a free live stream for us fans is absolutely fantastic. Looking at the poll again, want to circle back to that. We've got 510 votes as of right now. 56% say Nick Walker will win the Arnold Classic. 21% for Andrew Jack. It actually switched around, and now we have 22% for Hadi Chupin. They were about 5 percentage points away from each other only a few short minutes ago. So we are seeing a change there. Now we're seeing them tied. But still Nick with a pretty substantial lead in the poll as of right now. I should actually look around the field and see what the polls say on like desktop bodybuilding, Xavier Wilson, and see if Ron Harris has one up. How about check that out? Didn't Dexter win both the Arnold and Olympia in 08? I don't know exactly. I know we won the Olympia in 08, but I'm not sure. Portugal is supporting Nick, the perfect comeback. Like her and Adam's family. You guys talking about the... I don't know. So we have men's physique still to go before men's open. So we have men's physique and we have bikini. So we'll have the finals for both of those. And then we will have the men's open. Usually these intros are roughly about a half hour or so. They'll probably start getting competitors out here shortly. If Arnold did a veteran classic, past winners. If Arnold did a veteran classic of past winners, who would you like to see be the top 6 competitors? You mean if these guys were in their prime, like each competitor, kind of thing like that? Like, is that what you mean? I just want to get that clarified. I can't wait for Arnold to bring on wellness for men. How dare I drink something other than protein shakes, bro? Don't worry. Look, I've got my protein. Okay, I've got my protein, and I've got my protein shake. You know I'm prepared. You know I'm prepared. Don't worry about that. Actually, I might start having that shake soon. It's about that time. You guys can also go to bayoumuscle.com, use code EP10 at checkout. That massively supports the channel as well, you guys, and supports just a legit fan of bodybuilding that wanted to get involved as much as they could. Davey Mize, a fan of the channel, started Bayou Muscles and got a hold of me just as a fan, over a year ago now, and said, "Hey man, I like what you're doing. This is what I've been up to." Started a supplement company and wanted to send me some stuff. I tried it out, and the stuff is fantastic. He's doing a great job building these products. So if you guys want to support a grassroots company and support this channel as well, biomuscles.com, EP10 at checkout. Best Arnold Classic winner is easy. Flex Wheeler 1993. No one beats that. I'd have to go back and look at this. How many grams of protein daily? Between like 160 and 180 is what I try to target. I'm closer to 160. Ronnie 01 was good, but Ronnie was sporting a bit of a gut in 01. Yeah, 2001 was not Ronnie's best look. And that's why people were so shocked when he showed up the way that he did in 2003. Because 2001 and even 2002 was not great for Ronnie Coleman. Not great. You're not on the Milos protocol for protein. I cannot say that I am. That is insanity for someone like myself. And I could not dedicate the time to it. It's just too much. That would be too much. 2001 Arnold Classic was one of his best looks ever. Yeah, 160. No, man. I'm only like 180. Don't worry about it. Olympia was bad, but Arnold was spot on. Okay. I know that Nick has been running back and forth from at the Arnold to his hotel room to make videos. And yeah, I didn't know that Nick was actually going to be doing the commentating. I watched Nick's videos, and I don't recall him mentioning it, that he was going to be a commentator here. Could have missed it, but I don't know. How long to know who's the winner? Well, the stream just began about 35 minutes ago. We're currently seeing the intro being done by a number of commentators, including Nick Walker. Nick Strength and Power, as well as 7-time Mr. Olympia Phil Heath, going through some of the categories, speaking about some of the athletes. I do expect that we will cut to David Bay, who is the announcer for the Arnold Classic this year. But I actually saw that, if I'm not mistaken, I think Bob Ciccarillo is in the audience at the Arnold. I'm almost positive that I saw him there. Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. I actually saw an update from Antoine Vaillant, who was also, he made an Instagram post where he expressed his sincere interest, we'll say, in Martin Fitzwater being compared to Brandon Curry. Like I said before, if we do not see that take place, if we do not see a comparison between Martin Fitzwater and Brandon Curry tonight, this will be a question mark that we will not have answered. That could cost somebody a legitimate placing. You guys have expressed your opinion on this as well. Okay? Brandon Curry deserves to be compared for that 4th place spot. He most definitely did enough to earn that for himself. Bob was right in front of me last night. Yeah, so Bob, yeah, I could have swore that I did see Bob just flash in the live stream. Probably tried to cut away from him as quick as they could. So Jeff Ingle, you guys let me know who you think is ahead after prejudging. Interesting to know. Let me know how you got them seats too, brother. Message me on Instagram. I'll go with you next time. I never realized that it's Nick at that table. Yeah, a lot of people don't know what Nick actually looks like because Nick has always been a faceless channel. Hunter Labrada, you can see on the screen. I think it was. I could have been mistaken. It was at a distance. But yeah, a lot of people don't know what Nick looks like. One guy that actually stayed faceless and is continuing to stay as a faceless YouTube channel. The short looks in this show does favor Nick. Yeah, you know what? I never thought about that. Nick's not getting kind of overshadowed by his height in this show. You're right about that. That does make a difference. You're right. Interesting. Very good. Good point. If that's what you meant. Maybe that's not what you meant. But regardless, doesn't matter. It does work in his favor. I hope they drop Martin down from the 4th position and put Brandon in there instead. I hope he gets that chance to have that comparison. That is what I want to see. That is what I want to see. They're actually just about to preview bodybuilding now. Good. So as of right now, for myself, I have it as I think Nick is currently leading after prejudging. Andrew Jack in second. I'm going to put Hadi in third after prejudging. Martin Fitzwater. I want to see the comparison between him and Brandon, but I almost do want to put Brandon ahead of Martin Fitzwater, just given the fact that Brandon was conditioned, Martin was not. Brandon held his composure, Martin did not. I think he deserves the comparison. So between 4th and 5th, definitely Martin and Brandon, without question. Brandon, I think, very close to him. I think very close. Lion fan, not a fan of Bob at all. A lot of people aren't. Bob is unapologetically himself. There's no question. Curry over Chupin. Oh, that's bold. That is bold, sir. That is bold. In the early days, I think this pro competition used to be called Night of Champions. No, that was actually the New York Pro. Yeah, that was the New York Pro. SS Gaming 6646 says Hadi has just midsection and waist against Nick. Hadi had, Hadi was very wide from the back too, I think, in that back lat spread. He's got a lot of muscle back there, a lot of width. I mean, Nick has the best back double, arguably, in the world, but between him and Derek, for sure. But Hadi does have a lot of mass in the back. There's no question. So there's your top 4 that we saw last night. And again, you guys, this was a very good competition. I do want to say that. Showing up as Nick did made it very exciting. And now these guys having the room to improve, I think does make it very exciting going into this show. I think it does make it more exciting. Brandon third, Hadi first. I think it starts in 20 minutes. Yeah, we're probably getting close. I would say we're getting close. Andrew Jack, not as sharp as he was at the Olympia. He also really struggles with the back shots. His body holds water and fat there. We have not seen Andrew really stripped out in the lower body without showing up looking stringy. You guys remember the 2023 Arnold Classic. When he went to Camp Psycho Fitness in California, doing things like sled pulls and sauna, posing with not sauna, but posing in front of heat lamps. Andrew was shredded, but he was stringy, and they never really were able to really bring in that lower body to a degree where we see really good separation in the hamstrings and lines in the glutes. We just don't really see it from Andrew. But like I said before, he doesn't need that entirely, okay? Andrew doesn't need to be the most shredded guy on stage. He doesn't. Just needs to be conditioned enough, big, round, full, hard, especially through the upper body. Still have that quad conditioning. He does need that. But as long as he has enough conditioning, he doesn't have to have those stripped out hamstrings and glutes in order to win. He is a genetic marvel, and it's part of his God-given advantage that he has over the other competitors on the Arnold Classic stage and any stage that he steps on. Massive advantage for Andrew Jacked. Very good. Bob had a very respectable physique. Yeah, Bob did. Sure. Yeah, Bob was was a Masters Olympia champion, and he did compete at the Olympia. Martin looks so, and nobody has commentated more shows than Bob Ciccarillo. You know, he's really well versed on the business of bodybuilding, and it's always interesting to have him on the channel and have a chat with him. You guys can check out a couple of the interviews that I've done with Bob. I still think they're interesting to date. You can search them on the Bodybuilding Breakdown podcast right here on EP09 Bodybuilding. Davey Addict back in the chat, good friend of the channel. Welcome back, Davey. They need to get Martin out of that first call-out. Brandon could at least control his midsection, breathing, and wasn't soaking wet. Cannot argue that, sir. That cannot be argued. Martin was not deserving, I feel, of that fourth place spot. I feel that because the way we saw Brandon Curry look, that Martin did not earn that spot in fourth because he did not get compared to someone that could very legitimately be in fourth place. That being, again, two-time Arnold Classic champion, Brandon Curry. Making improvements when nobody thought that he would. You know, showing up at the Olympia the way that he did with the improved legs. Look, they're not... He's still better in the upper body. There's no getting around it. But his legs have improved, I think, quite significantly, where they're not as extreme of a weakness. You know, he has better balance. And he's another guy that just has genetic gifts that does help him win shows. There's no question. You know, Brandon is very, very round. He's very full. He's very well put together. He deserves to be compared for fourth. Today, Nick meets history. He may. He may. I agree about Martin looking bad. Yeah, Martin... I think Martin has the most room to improve. Of any of the competitors on that stage, I think that Martin has the most room to improve, okay? Now, I know that we've been talking about the top 5 quite a bit. You know, we could keep going down the list. Rafael Brandao, you guys, did not show up, I think, to the degree that he said he was going to. I think he did show up to meet my expectations. I will say that. I wasn't expecting very much from Rafael Brandao. He's had a hell of a last 12 months. You know, he hasn't had the time in order to really make the improvements, given the fact that he's been through, you know, bouts in the hospital. It hasn't given him enough time. And he's another tall guy that really has a huge frame that he needs to fill out. And he just hasn't done that yet. But you will see him probably 6th. That'd be my guess. Rafael has to bring up the legs. He has to bring up the back. He has to bring up, you know, shoulders are good. You could say, yeah, good shoulders, decent arms, but I still think the arms do need to come up. And he needs to maintain that midsection at the same time. And he needs to bring better conditioning. So he's got a long road, in my opinion. I think he has a long road. Fantastic bodybuilder, another guy with some definite genetic advantages. But you got to be able to really capitalize as much as possible on those genetic gifts. Don't know if he's doing that yet. Muhammad Foda, another guy that I think people had a lot of expectations from, and I think that he missed the mark here. I think that he looks much better on Instagram than he does actually stepping on stage. And I really think that he needs to spend so much time on that back that he should literally be training almost nothing else to let the back catch up. I think that he needs to improve the back that much. He needs to improve his back on his physique more than Akeem Williams. Because at least Akeem has a lot of aesthetics when it comes to some of the shots, you know, the front double, the side chest. Akeem did very well here back in 2020. Oh, very well. So we are only 13 minutes away as of right now, you guys, until they do the opening ceremony. And you can see the schedule right there. I am going to take a shot of that right now. Go. Just for my own reference. So it looks like it's going to be about 25 minutes per category. So that's pretty quick. That's pretty quick. It won't even be an hour and a half, you guys, and we'll see the open guys on stage. That's fantastic. Yep, that's fantastic. Bayou Muscle in the chat. Let's see. I lost your comment. Gotcha. What's going on, Davey? Welcome, brother. Brandon definitely deserves the first call-out. He would overtake Martin. Martin was full, but was pouring on stage. Bad luck. Nick could win this for real. He absolutely could. We talked about this earlier. There is a legitimate path to victory for Nick Walker. No question. We'll see if he ends up standing next to an improved version of either Hadi, not Brandon. I wouldn't mind seeing him stand next to Brandon, don't get me wrong, but we're talking specifically about that presumed top four, Hadi, Andrew Jack, and Martin. Is he going to be able to stand next to these guys and still win if they are improved? I think that if all three of them come in improved, then that lessens Nick's chances of actually being able to take home the win. Because I don't know how much better Nick can be. Again, just looking at the poll, almost 750 votes. Who will win the 2026 Arnold Classic? This is the opportunity for you guys to have your say on who you think is going to win this show. And as of right now, we're seeing numbers similar to what we were earlier. 56% say Nick Walker will win the 2026 Arnold Classic. We have 21% for Andrew Jack and 22% for Hadi Chupin. 1% for Martin Fitzwater, respectively. Andrew and Hadi going back and forth in the placings on this, but still very, very tight. They've been within a point of each other for probably the past 20 minutes of this poll. But Nick still with the overwhelming majority saying that he will be the 2026 Arnold Classic champion. So make sure you guys get in your vote. And again, if you're new here, thank you very much for joining me for this live stream of the 2026 Arnold Classic. Make sure to subscribe to EPzeronine Bodybuilding. And make sure you go to arnoldsports.com and actually register for the main stream. Support bodybuilding, support this show. Make sure that you get the actual live stream. Watch along with us here if you so choose, but we want to support this show. Thank you very much to the Arnold for putting on this free live stream. Does anyone know anything about the beef between Nick and Martin? I think Martin just has a beef with everyone in general. I think Martin just has beef. I think Martin is beef. Does that make sense? You guys know what I mean. There's always something with Martin. Always. And nobody talked about how bad Hassan Mustafa looked. Well, I think Michael Francis 3901 mentioning that. So I think the reason that nobody was really speaking about how bad Hassan Mustafa looked is because that's what we've come to expect from Hassan Mustafa. You know, we all expect Hassan Mustafa to look like that. There was one time when he showed up in shape, and it was years ago now. One time. That's it. When he was working with AJ Sims. And we haven't seen it since. So the reason that nobody's talking about it is because everybody thought that Hassan was going to finish close to last anyway. Really unfortunate because the guy is massive. But I think his conditioning is actually getting worse. from what I saw at this show, even compared to the last show that I saw him in, the lower body is becoming even less detailed. Even less detailed. He was going through Ramadan here. Now, I saw a comment about, well, Hadi must have been going through Ramadan as well, right? I don't know exactly, but I know Hassan was for sure. He made videos about it. But I don't know exactly when it comes to Hadi. But like I said, for Hassan, this is typical. I'm a big proponent to the wild factor. I feel Nick Walker should win the show, but unfortunately, I think they're going to give Hadi first. I actually think they're going to give Andrew first. I don't think Hadi did enough here. And I think Big Steve could stand up and say that very confidently. Appreciate you guys getting in the chat. I just had a whole bottle of ashwagandha. Now I feel strange. You'll be feeling strange for a while, brother. Feeling strange for a while. Have a seat. Keep the stream on. Pick your feet up. Feel better soon. Martin believes his own hype too much. Martin believes his own hype too much. I don't really know if Martin is... I mean, all these professional bodybuilders to a degree are egomaniacs, of course. But I don't know if Martin is one of those extreme egomaniacs and he just really believes his own hype too much. You know, Nick really believed his hype, you know, a lot, I think, at one point. But he has since been humbled. And I think that Martin could stand to possibly be humbled in the near future as well. After that last Prague Pro, Martin did gain a lot of hype, but now we're seeing the inconsistency with Martin. I think until we see him really nail it a couple times in a row, he's going to be known as someone, you know, is he going to show up in shape? Is he not going to show up in shape? This guy can be a roller coaster in terms of what he delivers on stage. Mr. Rogers 187, only thing funnier than Martin and comments is Wilkins always being in them too. They're brothers, right? I mean, it's not uncommon for him to stick up for Martin, that's for sure. That's for sure. But Brett Wilkin, I like Brett Wilkin. I think he's good for bodybuilding. Good shape too, good bodybuilder. Needs more size, of course, but he's a good bodybuilder. Nick made Hadi look small. I think in some shots, made him look small. I don't know about made him look small, but I think that you know, Nick was definitely dominating as the dominant freak on stage. There's no question about that. Andrew is winning. Nick is awesome, but just that waist you can't look past. That's the opinion of a lot of people out there. Who's it? Busa Joe 1159. A lot of people have that opinion. No, a lot. You're certainly not alone there. If Nick does lose the show, it is going to be because of his midsection. Not going to be because he didn't show up in condition. It is not going to be because he didn't meet the expectations of the judges. No question, he showed up in shape. But it's tough to get past a genetic marvel like Andrew Jacked. I've never been to the Arnold Expo. How is it chaotic? I haven't been either, but I know it's massive. It's absolutely massive. One of these years, I'm going to have to go. I say that about Martin in regards to him getting so upset with literally everyone who says he isn't winning a show. Yeah, he does get a little bit too emotional, to say the least. Yeah, to say the least. Martin gets a little bit too emotional. Showing the strong woman there. That chick is deadlifting 700 pounds easy. That was crazy. Yeah. I didn't watch the strongman competition or strong woman competition, unfortunately, but I do enjoy watching some of that stuff every so often. You know, very, very impressive. Again, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you guys joining me here for this live stream of the 2026 Arnold Classic. We will see who will take home the 2026 Arnold Classic Men's Open Final Trophy, as well as the check for $750,000. We will see the most prize money ever awarded on this stage tonight. So who's it going to go to? That's what I want to know from you guys. Let me know in the comments who you think will take home the Arnold Classic title and the $750,000 check. Make sure that you get your vote in on the poll as well. That'll be ongoing for the entirety of this stream. So far, we have Nick Walker with 55% of the vote, Andrew Jack 23%, Hadi Chupin 1%, Martin Fitzwater at 1% of the vote. I actually saw Xavier Wills didn't even put Martin in his poll. Maybe it was Ron. I'm not sure. But it is between these three at this point. I think that's pretty well accepted. So we should only be a few short minutes of the show actually starting. Currently, I think they're scheduled to start at 8 p.m. That'd be 7 p.m. in Ohio. So it should be any minute now that we cut to the main stage and we start getting to some of the competitors. Now, just for fun, I did say I wanted to go and see what the poll results were on some of the friends of the channel, so I'm going to do that. I thought Xavier was online already. He should be. Yeah, of course. There we go. Okay. Poll results for... Oh, no. He doesn't have a poll up. Well, Xavier, we'll check it later. Good friend of the channel, Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding. We'll check out Ron Harris's in a little bit. Another good friend of the channel. Wesley has to be pretty happy. Donald Pump, you are 100% correct. Wesley has got to be over the moon, taking home his third Arnold Classic title. Second here in Ohio. Wesley showed up in shape. Wesley showed up ready to win. And Wesley, I do still think, is very happy at the end of the day that Mike Sommerfeld was not able to compete, because it would have made his job a hell of a lot harder. I believe no matter how hard Nick tries, in the end, he will always be reduced to his middle part. I agree. I think that it will be the number one knock on Nick Walker for the entirety of his bodybuilding career. I don't disagree. But I do still think that he has the victory that could very legitimately get him a title, such as the Arnold Classic yet again. Remember, Nick won this title in 2021. We have Nick Walker, a former Arnold Classic champion. We have Hadi Chupin, a former Arnold Classic champion. Brandon Curry winning 2 Arnold Classics himself. You know, there are some serious contenders on this stage. Rafael Brandao has won the Arnold Classic Brazil. I think Andrew Jack won an Arnold Classic UK, if I'm not mistaken. Just let me know in the comments. I can't remember exactly, but there's some Arnold Classic champions on this stage, to say the least, okay? Some Arnold Classic champions on this stage. Very tough competition. Not showing up at their best in terms of Andrew Jack, Hadi Chupin, and Martin Fitzwater. We'll see if they make up that ground tonight at the prejudging. And I think they probably will. I think they probably will. They have the time to do it. You know, they have... they weren't too far off. I do think that they can make improvements in 24 hours. And Hadi's known to make improvements on Saturday as it is. You know, Hadi's known to come in better. I watched his video earlier. He was so happy and grateful. Yeah, Wesley was. Oh, yeah. I saw a... what was it? I saw a Instagram story where he was having a steak post victory. So, yeah, after a good steak like that, I'd be happy too. And the $100,000 check doesn't hurt. You imagine $100,000 for the Classic Physique winner. That's a good amount of money. Classic has really stepped up in prize money as well. Nick should at least be placed second. I agree as of right now. Gaming for Life 232. Nick should be placed at least second. And I think that he will be placed at least second. I think that he's earned at least second at this point. After prejudging, unless he comes in much worse at the finals, Nick has earned his way to a second place finish at minimum on this Arnold Classic stage. If Xavier has no pull-up, I'm getting worried. Nah, there's nothing to worry about with Xavier. Xavier's good to go, man. I was talking to him earlier. And we are now cutting to the Arnold Classic stage. They will be doing the American National Anthem, and then we will be getting to the competitors, ladies and gentlemen. It's like they will have a bit of a ceremony, as it were, for the American National Anthem. And it will not be long, and we'll see some of these competitors actually take the stage. Will not be long now, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to have the opening ceremonies, and then next will be the individual posing routines, bikini international final round. After that, then we'll see the men's physique, and then we will see the confirmation round for the men's open division. So it will not be only 3 categories, about 12 competitors in each category, you guys. This is going to go quick. You don't want to miss it. Make sure you stay right here on EPzeronine Bodybuilding. And again, thank you everybody for joining me on this live stream. I do encourage you guys again to go to arnoldsports.com, get the official live stream. Make sure that you register for that official live stream so that they can count that in their numbers as well. Given a free stream of one of the best competitions in bodybuilding right now, in many people's opinion, the best competition, for us to have the privilege of a free stream, make sure you guys go to arnoldsports.com, support the free stream, give them their numbers that they're looking for, that they deserve, and make sure you hit the subscribe button here as well. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. I stand by it. Wesley would not have beaten Mike. I think you're probably right. But that's on Mike for not making weight. That's it. It was within Mike's power to show up and make the weight. You know, that's his responsibility as a competitor. And he didn't do that. So that is entirely on him. Arnold will be 79 in a couple of months. Man, yeah. And he's still getting up and doing his thing every single day, man. You know, that's what keeps you young, guys. That's one thing I can tell you. You got to keep moving. Just keep moving. It'll keep you young. Davey Addict says, not a fan of Gym Reapers, but that girl is spoken hot 20 out of 10. One with the tattoos. Oh, well, I guess you'll be going to the Gym Reapers page here shortly, eh, buddy? I do hope Hadi doesn't throw a wobbler if he loses. Yeah, I hope not too, Dave Thomas. Again, welcome back to the stream. I don't think he will. I think he learned his lesson from the one time he did really pull that. I don't think we'll see that again. Jesse Ramirez 7039. I disagree. Nick has the best physique, definition, size, and appearance. Everything except the midsection, I agree with you. And again, Nick is one of my personal favorites. Everybody's aware of that at this point. If Nick comes in razor sharp, he wins. Brenda Grosnick 5853. So if Nick shows up as good or better than yesterday, then he is on the path to first place. If the other competitors, being Andrew Jack, Hadi Chupin, and Martin Fitzwater, show up better, well, then Nick's path of victory is going to be narrowed. Nick needs to rely on the fact that these other guys are going to show up and be a little bit off again. That's one of Nick's well-known paths to victory, is everybody else being off and him being very much on. David Bay now taking the stage. Again, David Bay, the commentator for the Arnold Classic this year. Typically, we would see Bob Ciccarello on stage, but they have parted ways this year. Now we have David Bay, who is a very accomplished commentator, and from what I heard last night, I think he did a pretty good job. Again, that's way too Donald Trump of me to say. I got to stop saying that. I don't blame Mike. I blame IVLIS. I don't know what that means. Sorry, brother. Hadi seems calm. Yeah, I think Hadi's got. I think Hadi's got a proper perspective on what is appropriate for him to react in terms of his placings, regardless of how he feels about it. You got to be a professional at the end of the day. You know, this is competition, and you can disagree with it, but there's a time and a place in order to do that. Say congratulations, walk away. That is the best thing that a bodybuilder can do this day and age when it comes to especially this very high level of competition. Already spent a solid 34 seconds on the Gym Reaper's website. It's all you needed. Fuck. What's that dude singing? Yeah, I noticed that too. I get a Gym Reaper t-shirt over my Tapo t-shirt over my Affliction t-shirt. Nailed it on that one. Actually, this shirt was given to me by Kareth Bajo when he was with a company called Rest When Dead. It was a couple years ago that he sent me this, so shout out to Kareth Bajo. Super cool guy, too. Actually coached by Dave Palumbo. Nick is my favorite. Yeah, like I said, my personal favorite as well, brother. Johnny O, BI1PB. Flex Wheeler, best never to win the Olympia. He's arguably an uncrowned Mr. Olympia for sure. Donald Pump says, here's some news. Maybe the 2026 Arnold Sports Festival UK will be streamed for free. Hey, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. You know, the Arnold Sports is doing something that other competitions just don't do. We do not have that, you know, in bodybuilding very often when it comes to a free live stream, especially a show like this that could legitimately charge a decent amount of money for this stream. Actually, that's one question that I would have for you guys. How much would you pay for the Arnold Classic live stream? That's actually a really good question. Let me know in the comments what kind of money you guys would spend, and tell me the currency as well. Let me know what you guys would spend on a stream. You guys get some numbers in there, and I'll tell you what I would spend. Seth Ferozi said if Nick doesn't win, he will have questions. They were next to the judges, and Seth said he was leagues in front of everyone. Yeah, I saw that video with Seth Ferozi, and he was, like I said, very non-hesitant. He was very confident in saying Nick Walker should be the Arnold Classic champion at this point. It wasn't even a question for him. Not even a question. Robert Bradshaw 9367. Walker's physique is so unattractive. Yeah, there's a lot of people with that opinion. His midsection is. Juice Lee TV. Andrew Dorf's. Sorry, 1 second. Want to hear what Brian Powers is saying? Brian saying that at the end of the competition that he expects the expo to be the third largest consumer expo in the United States. It's pretty big. Yeah, that's pretty big. Andrew dwarfs everybody and is way more aesthetic with good conditioning. How would he not be the winner? Nick only wins freak factor and conditioning. And that's, again, we talked about the path for victory for a guy like Nick Walker. We talked about a path to victory for a guy like Andrew Jack. Will said that is Andrew's path to victory. You know, his God-given gifts and showing up with enough conditioning. A few years ago, it was like $50, and you got an Arnold shirt. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, okay, $30. Johnny Sponge 30, 20 to 30, $2 Iranian. I don't know how much that is. 25 Canadian, $20, 20 per day. If it were 50, I'd have wanted to see. If it were over 50, I would have waited to see coverage on YouTube. Yeah, okay. Top 60. Yeah, so 20 bucks. You know, I really think that. And for myself, I mean, I'd probably go as high as 30 to 50 bucks, you know. I mean, what is it, 30 or 50? Now, for a weekend show like this, look, if they charged 50, I'd probably pay it, to be honest with you. I'd probably pay it. Given that the production value is what it is, you know, it's worth it. It is worth it. And to be able to talk bodybuilding with you guys is worth it for me too. So that's a factor for me personally. Not more than a tub of protein powder. Protein is expensive these days, man. So, you know, that's at least 40 for a 2.5 pound tub now, you know? It's not cheap. Yeah, it is not cheap. Would you rather have to, let's see, Joel Simpson 6733 says, would you rather have to always hop around on one foot or have to always squat? I'd probably go with squat. Yeah, I'd probably go with squat. I think I'd get tired of hopping around on one foot for a while. My legs would adapt eventually to just doing squats all the time. Maybe. Atheist Nihilist, I don't think people realize how niche bodybuilding still is. I swear, like, for people not in the fitness industry, like less than 100,000 people in the world are interested in bodybuilding. Well, you know, Phil Heath said it yesterday. Bodybuilding is in 190 countries, you know? I think it's more than what you're considering, you know? Like 100,000 people? No, man. No, I think that it's way more than that. I think it's way more than that. I mean, during the Olympia weekend when I was doing live streams, just at that show, I mean, not just at that show, it's a massive show, but I mean, we did over 500,000 views just on that. Yesterday for the prejudging at the classic physique category, when I did my live stream, it was 45,000 views there. I think the numbers are way bigger than what you're considering. You know, think about the money that's spent on supplements. But anyway, it's bigger, in my opinion. Actually, I think it's just factual. But regardless, I think if it's high quality, I would pay $80 if it's HD and has moving cameras. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Didn't we all just pay like 80 for the Olympia? Yeah, we all did. Yes, we did. And look, that's why I said, you know, for a show like this, like $50, yeah, I would pay it. I would. And the Olympia is not nearly well as lit as the Arnold Classic. You know, it takes way longer for a fan just sitting at home, you know, to really watch the Olympia. This is a good show for a lot of different reasons. You know, a really good show for a lot of different reasons. Just as a fan of bodybuilding, you can get through categories and still see pretty tight competition. You know, that's the key when it comes to invitationals instead of qualifiers. Johnny S. Sponge 9218. Bodybuilding is the greatest sport in the world. Yes, sir, I agree with that 100%. Brandon Curry should be ahead of Martin. That's Christopher Burkhardt 3714. Welcome back. I agree with you 100%. Brandon should be ahead of Martin, I think. I think that at minimum, that comparison needs to be done. We need to see it. Brian Mathis 357. I have a question not related to the Arnold Classic. I only have one leg. What exercises would you recommend for the leg? Look, if you only have one leg, I actually, I'm missing a big toe on one foot. I had an accident almost 10 years ago now. But look, there's things that you can do when it comes to being one-legged, but a lot of machines is what I would do. Yeah, I would be looking at doing a lot of machines. And build your way up to single leg squats. They're not easy. I think bodybuilding is more popular now than 5 years ago because of the uptick in healthy lifestyles. possibly helped by GLP-1 widespread use. I think bodybuilding more possible. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, the fitness industry has definitely grown. Definitely grown. Listen to this guy, so much better than even bodybuilding. Even's an OG, man. Respect, respect. Go to any show. 99% of the audience is friends, family, coaches, teams of athletes, or people from the expo. Our fitness influencers are people from apparel, protein, fitness stuff companies. I still think it's more than what you're considering, brother. Bodybuilding is growing, and I think it is much bigger than just 100,000 people worldwide. The math doesn't add up. 190 countries? No, doesn't add up to me. Arnold Schwarzenegger now taking the stage. Says the Arnold Classic has been around for 50 years. 50 years the Arnold Classic has been around, since 1976. That's unbelievable. Man. And I don't think it's going anywhere. I think the Arnold is here to stay, especially if it keeps progressing like this. The Arnold will exceed the Olympia in terms of popularity soon. Olympia just doesn't innovate or listen to the fans. It's funny because Dan Solomon is someone that continuously says that he is listening to the fans, but he also, almost in the same breath, always says that there is a balance in there in terms of the Olympia being a business, being able to cater to sponsors. This is just it. I think that Dan has more constraints than Arnold does, and since Arnold is able to put in, put more into it, then I think the Olympia can. I think that makes a difference. What are the two countries, though? I don't know. Antarctica is probably one of them. I don't know. Who cares if it's popular? Is that dude trying to say bodybuilding is a closed loop economic system? Not me. No, not me. Atheist nihilist say personally love bodybuilding. I know one person who follows it. Went to Toronto Pro. I was the only person not with a fitness company or related to an athlete. I actually think I'm going to go this year. Funny you mentioned the Toronto Pro. I'm planning on going. It's a pretty short plane ride for me. Be there within, in Ottawa in 2 hours. So I think I'm going to do it. Bodybuilding is by far the most difficult sport in the world. It takes a full lifestyle in a way that no other sport demands. It is very demanding. It is extremely demanding. I agree. I think it is probably the most difficult sport in the world. What are your squat, bench, and dead numbers? Bro, I'm a 38-year-old natty. Nothing impressive. Yeah, nothing impressive. I'm not about big numbers. Olympia is necessary to be the corporate event, but every industry has the true favorite event. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. So again, we do have Arnold currently on the stage, and we should be seeing within the next 5 minutes or so. The opening ceremony should be closing, and then we'll have the Arnold Classic individual posing routines. I think that's going to be for bikini. So we will see that in the next few minutes, you guys. We will be getting to the competitors, and look, we got men's physique coming up as well. And I don't I don't like men's physique as a category, but I like it better than what it used to be. So we'll put it that way. We won't suffer through it like we used to. I think that's the best way that I could say it when it comes to men's physique in that sense. The physiques are getting to be fairly impressive. The Arnold started in 1989. Arnold just said 1976. The Arnold Classic had been around 37 years, not 50. Oh, well, that's what Arnold just said. He said 76. Whatever. I'm doing half the stack on the leg extension, so pipe down. I can do half the stack. Oh, fuck. Leg extension, actually, I'm really strong there. Yeah, I like doing triple drop sets on the leg extension. Like $50, you get to sit like 10 feet away from the stage. Toronto's a great show to attend. I might actually try to get there and do some interviews and maybe some media. I'm going to reach out to the show promoter, so I'll keep you guys posted on that. I'd really enjoy to go to that. Bodybuilding is up there with rock climbing, with sports that will seriously shorten your lifespan. Yeah, it is. It is, but I think that's one of the reasons that it has a certain appeal. You guys can see that they're bringing out some of the Arnold Classic champions previous. Got Ronnie Coleman, 2001. High Green. Yeah, 3-time Arnold Classic champion. Sampson's there. Very good. Jay Cutler winning 3 Arnold Classics in his career. Nick Walker taking home 1. You can see Nick standing next to Hadi. Nick's notably got a t-shirt on. Hadi with no t-shirt. That gives us a little bit... Okay. I mean, it doesn't really tell us anything, but... yeah, it looks like Hadi's in shape. Can we say that right now? No. So these are some of the Arnold Classic champions from over the years. The legends of bodybuilding, as they say. Actually is pretty cool when you think about it. You can see, see in the background it says celebrating 50 years. That must have been for something else. Yeah, it must have been. I think Arnold was talking about a partnership or something. Anyway, yeah. The open division has become, hold on, a race to the bottom. What? The open division has become a race to the bottom. Just because the chemistry is there to produce these enormous bodies doesn't mean the sport benefits by going that way. Thankfully, we have Classic. Classic was created for a specific reason, and it is there, I think, to balance out the sport of bodybuilding. I think the Classic definitely accomplished that. But with that being said, that doesn't take away the love that I have for the open. My arms don't look natty. Well, training for 20 years, and living a good lifestyle. Appreciate it, though. Jack Say says Andrew first, Nick in second, Hadi in third. Let's check out the poll again as we continue along here. We have, as of right now, 999 votes. Appreciate all you guys getting your vote in. Still looking at a very similar numbers to what we've seen. There's 1,000. Thank you, you guys. 55% for Nick Walker, and we have 23% now for Andrew Jack, 21% for Hadi Chupin. Numbers staying consistent throughout the entirety of the poll. So make sure you guys get your vote in, and give me your predictions again. Give me your predictions for the Open. Full contact combat sports are way harder. I mean, I could see that being pretty damn hard as well. I actually used to do judo back in the day. Man, Derek looks like trash here too. Hey, we'll see what Derek looks like next time he takes the stage. And we are on schedule. They will be bringing out the athletes now. You guys, this is the official start to the Arnold Classic Finals Saturday night. This is where we will find out who will be the champion to take home the Arnold Classic title 2026, as well as $750,000. And they are starting with the Men's Open. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting into the Men's Open right now. We will see the individual routines from the competitors now before we will see the bikini final round. So this is just fantastic. And look, this is the Arnold Classic doing it right. Having the men come out, right away. It's what the people want to see. This is proper. This is very proper. So, again, we spoke about Rafael Brandao earlier, you guys. I think that Rafael showed up in the shape that we all expected him to at the end of the day. Rafael still needs to put on more size. He obviously needs more conditioning. I have two screens going, just so you guys are aware. He's not bringing the conditioning. He's not bringing the size. He has a lot of genetic gifts when it comes to his overall shape. You know, very good midsection. I think he's got a good taper. But he just doesn't have the size. He just doesn't have the size, and that's what it comes down to. If this guy put on a decent amount of size, I think we would see Rafael Brandao start getting into that conversation for, I mean, how high at the Olympia could he go? Oh, making it into the first call-out? Possible. Possible, but it would take a lot for him to get to that point. I think he has a lot of muscle that he would need to put on. And if we haven't seen it yet, I don't know if we ever will. Yeah, I still don't know if we will. Like, overall back development, I think, needs to come up. Yeah, there was nothing going on back there. Yeah, for Rafael, not a lot when it comes to the back. No, not a lot. Okay, next up, we will have Hadi Choopan taking the stage. Let's see if we see any improvements from Hadi Choopan in terms of conditioning. That is what we were looking for here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we end up seeing it. Will we see an improved version of Hadi Choopan? See it. Hadi usually comes out with a very aggressive posing style. I expect to see that again tonight. Being a little bit more dramatic before he comes out, leaving the stage a little bit empty. And from what we can see so far, looks like the quads look much better than what they were at the prejudging. Let's see him hit a couple shots. Oh, yeah, you can see just when he flexes the quads, I think that we are seeing some improvements there. Definitely seeing a lot drier through the upper body. I think that we're seeing more hardness through the upper body. Seeing the feathering in the teardrops, the separation in the quads. I think this is an improved version of Hadi Choopan that we're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen. I think that it is safe to say that we are seeing improvements from Hadi Choopan. You can see how much harder he really looks. The pecs yesterday, we didn't see the striations through the pecs. Now, I think that you can see more than what you could see yesterday. Let's see the hamstrings. I think a little bit better in terms of the legs from the back, but still not necessarily that shredded version of Hadi Choopan that we're used to seeing from the back. Better for sure. Definitely better. But he really did dial this in for Saturday night. You know, much more than what we saw previous. Much more than what we saw previous. The quads, much better. And especially if Hadi just continues to pose and continues to look better. Hadi's making Nick's job very difficult right now. Hadi is making the job very difficult for Nick Walker. He is showing up in classic Hadi Choopan shape in many aspects. So we'll see what Nick can answer with. We'll see what Andrew brings to the stage as well. We still have Martin Fitzwater, Brandon Curry, so many competitors. Shout out to Anthony Williams as well, you guys. We're going to get to Anthony here shortly, but I was speaking with Anthony actually about a week before the show, and man, he's a bodybuilder's bodybuilder. Very happy to see him on the stage. But Hadi, I think, showing up and answering the question as to whether or not he will show up with improvements. And he most definitely is improved here tonight. Hadi, being a former Arnold Classic champion himself from 2024, not making it easy. He is not making it easy, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up next is Brandon Curry. We'll see what we can find from Brandon Curry in this Arnold Classic. Are we going to see any changes from last night to tonight? I think that he could improve in terms of overall fullness in the legs. Doesn't want to go too far over what he was, because I do think that he was very close to perfection, but from what we can see here so far, initial reactions, I think Brandon looks very good. Looking good. Upper body looks very hard. Needs to hold in that midsection, though. You can see he's just kind of letting that midsection go a bit. I think this is a similar package to what we saw last night from Brandon Curry. I don't know if it is as... It's not worse, but I don't think that he's necessarily better. But again, this is a good version of Brandon Curry. We'll see how Martin shows up, but I would like to see more midsection control from Brandon. I will say that, and that's not something that I typically see as a problem. He really does need to pull in that midsection. Yeah, very good from the back, very good flow. Yeah, you can see just very, very aesthetic. You know, Brandon Curry being one of those aesthetic guys with a decent amount of mass. Looks like he's getting better, actually, as he continues to pose through here. It does look like he's getting better. I think there's more detail in the quads down. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yep. Yep, this is a very good version of Brandon Curry, ladies and gentlemen. A very good version. Curry, look, big M-bomb. Welcome back, brother. Curry looking better than Hadi, except he has no calf muscles at all anymore. I don't know if we'll see Brandon compared with Hadi, but I do hope that we will see him at least compared for 4th place, because I don't think anyone would be upset if Martin shows up the same way that he did. Martin won't deserve 4th place. He won't deserve it. Diviatic says Brandon looks the same, maybe a bit worse. I don't think he's worse, but I don't typically, have an issue when it comes to Brandon's midsection. I think that this time there was a maybe a little bit less midsection control than what we're used to seeing. The routine, no, the routine doesn't make it to the scorecards. No. Martin Fitzwater coming out now. So we'll see if we have any significant improvements from Martin. And I think that we'll know very quickly if we see any improvements from Martin. So immediately I can say that it looks like the tan is a bit better. Looks like he's a bit darker when it comes to the tan. So just that in itself is an improvement. Let's see the quads. Well, from what I can see so far, I don't think that there's much more detail in the quads than what we saw last night. His tan is definitely better, there's no question, but I'm not seeing the striations in the chest. I'm not seeing that stripped out side leg. Some striations in the chest and that side tricep, we will give him that. The hams and glutes will be very telling. Okay. So this is definitely, I think we can say, better than what we saw yesterday in terms of the hams and glutes for Martin. I think that this is better than what we did see. Is it the best that we've seen from Martin? I don't think so. But is this much better than what we saw last night? Absolutely it is. Yeah, absolutely. You can see more detail even in the upper back. Okay. Martin is a little better. Yeah, he is a little bit better. We'll see if that quad detail comes out as he continues to pose. Even the quads are a little bit better than yesterday, I think. Okay. Yeah, he is better. There's no question there. Now, will this be enough in order for him to maintain a fourth place position? I think it's possible. Yeah, I think it's possible at this point. Martin really did need to show improvements for tonight because he was arguably in fourth place and compared to what we're seeing here, or arguably in fifth place as compared to here, where I think he can be pretty solidly. I think more so in fourth place at this point. I think so. A little better. He's way better. I would say I would say he is better, but we've seen him better. Yeah, we have seen him better. Phil just said that it was night and day compared to yesterday. Okay, very good. So Muhammad Foda, a competitor that really had a lot of hype going into this show. More than other competitors, one thing is that he was showing a lot more physique updates. My concern with Muhammad Foda was that he looked like he was really in shape for weeks leading up to the show. I mean, even at like 3 weeks out, this guy was shredded, dude. I mean, he was ready, Not that I think that he is. Well, yeah, I think it may have affected his overall conditioning on stage. Oh, to maintain that for weeks is not the best case scenario for being able to show up on stage at your best. You want to. It's called a peak. You don't want to hit it 3 weeks beforehand. Not everybody maintains the same way. Still a bit of a midsection problem with Muhammad Foda. That's something that we saw yesterday as well. I think overall that he might be a little bit better, but still lacking in the back department, and certainly not as shapely as some of these other guys, or how he would appear on Instagram. Because on Instagram, this guy is fantastic. Under his own control of lighting and positioning and cameras and things like that. He is very good on Instagram, but that's not necessarily translating over to the stage. And the midsection is definitely the biggest thing for me. Not sure what took place when it comes to that midsection, but there's definitely something going on there. Could be that he needs to reduce the volume in his stomach, or I'm not sure exactly, but he definitely has a midsection issue, and especially at the Arnold Classic, you will not place high with a midsection issue. Absolutely not. Not like that. I mean, that is blatant. Even the control wasn't great. Hassan Mustafa now taking the stage, and somebody asked a question about Hassan Mustafa earlier. The question was, why is nobody really speaking about Hassan, and how bad he really did? And my answer then was that this is what we've come to expect from Hassan. The guy's a mass monster. The guy is, carrying around a freaky amount of muscle. But this is what we've come to expect in terms of Hassan's conditioning. You can see the quads look very washed out. That midsection is washed out as well. Not great quad sweep either. Not great posing execution. There's a number of things when it comes to Hassan. I mean, he's not opening up. He's not really opening up very much. Got a good side chest, I think, in terms of the poses that he hits well. Side chest is one because it hides the poor shape of the quads, the lack of detail in the quads. It hides the midsection. But a lot of it really just does come down to conditioning. Hassan is a crazy, crazy huge man. But we've seen this from Hassan time and time again. And going through Ramadan, of course, being very difficult. But Hassan still. This has been the going trend with Hassan, is he's got more work to do. And I don't know if there's anything that he could really do. even if he did nail it at this point, I don't know if it would make a huge difference. His physique is kind of, it seems kind of blown out to me. Next up is Andrew Jack. So, Andrew Jack coming on stage, fighting for that first place spot at the prejudging. I think the things that Andrew could improve on is definitely conditioning. So we'll see if he was able to accomplish that. More detail in the hamstrings, the quads, glutes. Upper body wise, Andrew, I think was great. I think it was great. Some people commented about his front lat spread execution at this show. But look, we'll see what he brings now. Let's see what he brings. I think he looks tighter. I think so far he looks a bit tighter. I think he looks harder. And that's one thing that Andrew needed was a lot of oil as compared to last night where he looked like he really had none. There we go. Yeah, see, he's hitting that front lat, I think, proper. And he does. He looks very hard through the upper body. You know, a lot of vascularity that I'm seeing. Good striations through the chest overall, I think. And as we've come to expect, a fairly artistic posing routine for Andrew, although he is criticized on his posing execution in the mandatories especially. We typically see a fairly well thought out posing routine from Andrew Jack, and I think that's no different. Hamstrings and glutes, I think, look a lot of the same as compared to what we saw yesterday. Good amount of width there, of course, in the upper back. The upper back was no issue. One of these days, Andrew's going to hurt himself doing the splits, man. See? A tough one to pull off. Okay. So, Andrew Jack, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? We've now seen Andrew. We've seen Hadi. Seen Martin. What do you guys think? Change up your placings? Just let me know. Next up, Nick Walker, and we will see what Nick can bring to the stage as compared to, in my opinion, the fantastic version that we saw from Nick at the prejudging. We saw the most conditioned athlete on stage when it came to the prejudging being Nick Walker. Let's see what he brings to the stage tonight at the finals. Looks like Nick still has those striations through the chest, the stripped out legs, hamstrings. Let's see if he's got the hamstring. Yeah, so the stripped out hamstrings, lines in the glutes. Oh, yeah. Very good in the back double. Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah, a lot of, well, good amount of width, good balance in the back lat spread. Yeah, it looks like Nick is on. Nick didn't hit a conventional front double though, so I'm not exactly sure what the quads are looking like. We're seeing most muscular, I think we'll know. There, he's flexing the quads now. Yeah, the quads I think look good. You know, Nick's legs, I think, I feel like they were better yesterday. Is that crazy to say? I feel like I was more impressed with Nick when he came out yesterday. I feel like I was more impressed with him yesterday, but still a very good version of Nick Walker. The other guys being, I think, more on than they were yesterday does make Nick's life a little bit more difficult. But look, again, it is a good version of Nick Walker. I think that's definitely fair to say. Yeah, the midsection. We've got some comments about the midsection in terms of Nick, and I'll have to see him in some of the mandatories. It didn't look much worse than yesterday, but of course, it is still a factor for Nick. There's no getting around it. I want to change my vote to Andrew now. Yeah, we'll see if the poll swings any. So Akeem Williams knows this Arnold Classic stage very well. He's been here many times before. This will be the final open competitor before we switch over to the bikini confirmation. And the show is running on schedule so far, you guys, so that is absolutely excellent. They expect the bikini round to be about 25 minutes, so not looking at anything too substantial that way. And then it'll be men's physique, and then we'll move into the confirmation round for the open. You guys let me know what you think about the open so far. Kalen445 says, I was all Nick yesterday, but I think Hadi and Andrew are going to be top two today so far. I'll be interested to see the comparisons, but based on what I just saw, there's definitely a difference between all four competitors compared to what we saw yesterday. Most definitely. Yeah, there's definitely a difference. One thing I want to know from you guys is, based on what we saw so far, tell me who you think the most improved is in terms of the finals. Who has made the most improvements from prejudging to finals? So you guys let me know. Is it Hadi, Andrew, Martin? I think general consensus is that Nick is not much improved compared to what we saw. But again, we cannot discount what we saw. We cannot discount what we saw at the prejudging, you guys. Not by any stretch. And it looks like we have lost the stream momentarily. Stream's coming back. Oh, Anthony Williams. Yeah, we have Anthony Williams, of course. We'll just wait for this to get back up and running. We can help it along. Down for a second, it should help. Nick all day long got to win. Martin improved as well as Hadi's leg. Hadi will get number one. Martin's improvements look solid. I don't know what's going on. I was really hoping to see Anthony's physique. Wait for the stream to catch up, you guys. We'll be back up and running here in just a second. There we go. Okay, we're starting to get somewhere now. No, my internet is good. I don't know what's happening. Everything's been good on my internet up till now. It's just in the stream itself. We'll get it. Bear with me for a second. They're going to be moving into the bikini category next. And the schedule as it currently stands is we'll have the bikini category. Then it'll be the men's physique final round. After that, we have the Arnold Classic confirmation, and then the pose down, and then the awards. So it will not be long. Let's see. Connect here, disconnect here. Big difference. Okay, now moving into the bikini category. Same thing. Bear with me for 1 second. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're back. We were. Okay, here we go. Same thing. What's happening here? Not sure what's happening with the stream. Bear with me for just a second. Okay, we're back up and running. There we go. Not sure what happened there, but we're back. We're good to go. Laura Lee Chapato is currently on stage. You know, very well known in the bikini division. I believe there's 12 competitors in the bikini division. I don't think there's any more than that. And like I said, we're going to be looking at roughly about 25 minutes of the bikini category. After that, it moves into men's physique, and then they have and that's for about a half hour. They always have a bit of a presentation in between, so we'll have that, and then we'll have the confirmation round, and then we'll have the awards. So you guys, this show is going to fly by. Trust me. Trust me, this show is going to fly by. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Yeah, like I said, my internet's good. My router's 10 feet away. Andrew has it locked. Lower redemption time. I like Angelica, but sometimes it's hard to understand her for me. Yeah, I think that's a lot of people were saying that, actually. rid of a few things, I think. No, that should do it. I'm not sure why this is happening, but what I'll do is maybe try to bring it up another way. Yeah, everything's saying that my internet's good. I don't understand what's happening. Everything should be okay. Strange. Kill those Napster downloads. Yeah, imagine. It's going back probably 25 years. Oh, I can close this for sure. Sorry about that, guys. Close it out and reopen and see if that makes a difference. The window. Oh, this would happen to me now. There we go. Get this back up and running. Only take me just a second. Sorry about this, guys. Just give me 1 second. I'll get this back up and running. Bikini's currently on stage, so here we go. Okay, should be it. Very good. Anthony might be the best. Download those Creed songs later. Oh my lord. So probably about halfway through the bikini division as of right now. If only Andrew could hit a proper side tricep. It would really be impressive if Andrew could finally do that. Unfortunately, that's always been an execution problem for Andrew. You know, that's always been a very difficult thing for Andrew when it comes to that side tricep. Just the execution is not there. You know, it's just not there. I'm actually planning on having Anthony Williams on the channel in the near future. I was speaking with him and he said that he is interested in coming on, having a chat. So we will get Anthony Williams on the channel here eventually, you guys. And I'm really looking forward to talking with him about his experience here at the Arnold Classic. But again, I do want to hear from you guys on what you think about what we've seen so far. Haven't really seen much swing in the pole in particular. But from what we are seeing, let me guys know who you have currently in your top 3 after seeing the individual comparisons for the men's open. I think for me, man. Part of me wants to put Andrew, I feel, in first. and maybe Nick in second. But I do think that Nick has secured himself a second place after what we saw at prejudging. And then I would probably say Hadi third. I want to lean that way because I think the judges are going to go that way, honestly. I think the judges are going to end up going that way. This crook has fake teeth. What the fuck? I think they all do. Yeah, I feel like they all do. Is that fair to say that they all do? Probably. Next up, Reina Perez coming up next. Hadi third will be his lowest placing since the 2021 Olympia. Now, isn't that interesting? Oh, that's very interesting. Bikini, for those of you that are maybe new to the sport, it's not really about conditioning when it comes to bikini. No, that's not what bikini is about. If you're too conditioned, actually, you'll get marked down in bikini. No, that's the way that ends up working. This is the only poll on YouTube. Really? Ron Harris doesn't have one up? Ron Harris must have a poll up. We got to have a poll from Ron Harris. Thought I saw one earlier. Let me see. Yeah, we'll see if that loads up. But looking at the poll results so far, who will win the 2026 Arnold Classic? As of right now, you guys have Nick Walker 54%, Andrew Jack 24%, creeping up a little bit. Hadi Chupin to 21%. But this is what we have so far. Maybe I should start a new poll. You guys let me know if you want me to start a new poll in the chat. I appreciate all you guys being here again. Thank you very much for joining me on this live stream. Really, really love hanging out with all you guys, especially after my notable absence from YouTube. Made it tough. You know, it made it tough. I really did miss this. So I'm glad that I could come back for one of the biggest, if not the biggest show of the year. I mean, the Olympia is still the biggest. Let's not kid ourselves. But the most prize money, no question. This is the only stream that matters. Thanks, Black Patron. I really appreciate you, brother. So we should be coming on to getting close to the end of the okay, so they said the final two here. And then we'll get into the men's physique. Like I said, I'm not disinterested in men's physique. I don't follow it though. No, I don't follow it. Okay. New poll. New poll. Who do you have ahead after the individual routines? Who do you have ahead after the individual routines? Nick Walker. Go with Andrew Jack. Andrew Jack. Another option for Hadi Chupin. And we will throw in Martin Fitzwater. Start poll. New poll in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. New poll. Who do you have ahead after the individual routines? Really excited to see what you guys are going to vote on when it comes to this poll. Andrew Jack after individuals, but it is hard to tell. Yeah, until we really see the comparisons, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to say, you know, who was going to be, who's really ahead. But based on what we saw in terms of the improvements from some of these guys, based on what we saw in terms of maybe the lack of improvements from Nick, I think that's fair to say. You guys let me know what you think. Again, thank you very much, everybody, for being here and supporting EP09 Bodybuilding. Appreciate all you guys getting into the chat, subscribing to the channel. Really helps out the channel a lot by hitting that subscribe button. Thank you again, guys, for being here. Stay tuned. We are getting very, very close to the men's open finals. So they're going to bring out the bikini competitors again, and they will be giving out, this will be the confirmation round. The show is running on schedule, that I can say. So everything is running smoothly at the Arnold Classic. They expect that this will take roughly about 25 minutes. Then we'll get into the men's physique, which will roughly be about 30 minutes. So we'll see how the individuals look here, and then we will continue on to the men's open confirmation round. Right now, looking at the confirmation round for the bikini. So they did a top 6 call out here. Spell check Martin. Well, I might have finger fucked that one. You guys know who I mean. I could have put Martin Sweatswater too, right? We'll see how Martin shows up tonight. Did come out with a better tan. We will definitely say that. Still seeing Nick in the lead as of right now. Desmond Thailand, give us all a shout so you can see how glad we all are that you're doing this to help us. Desmond Thailand, shout out for sure. Let's go, Andrew. I voted the same. Is this live? Live? So many videos are doing, but aren't. No, this is live. Yeah, this is live. So second call out for the bikini. You guys, it's going to be very interesting to see these comparisons, having given the fact that we are seeing improvements from Andrew Jack, from Hadi Chupin, from Martin Fitzwater. We have seen improvements. And again, that's what narrows the path Nick Walker to really walk home with that victory, and not to mention that $750,000 check. I don't know what they're going to get when it comes to second or when it comes to third, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 250 and then 100,000. That sounds right to me, but I'm just ballparking. It will be very close between Nick, Andrew, and Hadi. I think I'll have a chance for the win. I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think that they all have a chance for the win. Absolutely. Nick better win. Look, I am pulling for Nick. No, I want Nick to win. I don't know if he'll end up getting it, but one of the ways that Nick was going to secure that was going to be by everybody else showing up off. Unfortunately, Nick, Andrew, and Martin, Hadi, Andrew, and Martin just made Nick's job that much harder, especially given the fact that, look, Nick was good, but I think that Nick had a little bit more wow factor than, I think he had a little bit more wow factor last night, if I'm being honest. Okay, men's physique currently on stage, ladies and gentlemen. We now have men's physique. And I'm not extremely familiar with all of the competitors in men's physique. But if you guys might remember, some of the changes that were made to men's physique in the last couple of years included these guys actually having a weight cap because the physiques were getting absolutely out of control in terms of men's physique. And they also now have to make sure that their new criteria is met. That being the length of the shorts. I believe it's 2 inches above the knee is where the shorts have to sit when it comes to the trunks that they wear in men's physique. And you have to be able to show an amount of leg development in men's physique now as well. Tyler Mannion making that very clear. Cannot just show up in really long board shorts and not have any legs. You have to at least show that you have the size in the legs to have an overall balanced physique. Because you guys, men's physique was getting way out of control. You know, it was getting way out of control. Brandon Henderson at one point looked like he could have competed in Classic. You know, you had guys that would go back and forth. Kyron Holden, I believe his name was. He would go back and forth from men's physique to Classic. You should not be able to do that, you know, in one show. You shouldn't be able to do it. So Ryan Terry coming in, being the Olympia champion and really setting a new standard for men's physique, bringing it back to what they originally wanted, of it being more of a quote-unquote beach body division. That is the definition of men's physique. You know, really wide back, that's a very good trademark of men's physique as well. But at the end of the day, these guys are not bodybuilders, and they shouldn't be trying to be bodybuilders. If they want to be bodybuilders, then get into bodybuilding. Very impressive physiques, though. I will say that. The men's physique, I think the physiques have progressed to a proper level at this point. You know, the emphasis on being very wide across the shoulders, the abs, you know, that's one of the keystones in men's physique, of course, the width of the back. And this guy actually looks like he has a very impressive physique overall in terms of the back width. Conditioning looks like it's pretty much where it should be. Mr. Rogers 187. It's funny because Terry actually has pretty good legs. See, that's just it. You know, these guys in men's physique. The thing is, you do have a weight cap, so you do want most of the weight to go to your upper body because that's essentially what you're judged on more so than the legs. But being able to show a more balanced physique, I think, increases your chances in the division because the guys that didn't have legs now, you know, they're not going to do well. Look at this competitor, for instance. Okay, look at the leg development. It's not bad, but you can see the imbalance, you know, from top to bottom. And some of these other guys in men's physique now, they don't have that imbalance. Ryan Terry is a good example. Got a good balance. This guy doesn't need much more leg size, but he definitely does need more leg size to be competitive in this category of men's physique in 2026. And he just doesn't have enough legs, which is really nice to say, I gotta say, because honestly, it was a bit of a joke, you know, the fact that these guys didn't have any legs. And look, a lot of competitors felt insulted, and they should have felt insulted. No, I think they should have. This guy's shorts really aren't doing him any favors. I agree. Yeah, I agree. They have to be at least 2 inches above the knee. They don't have to be more than that. Okay, Brandon Hendrickson taking the stage. Now, this guy is a serious veteran of men's physique. And he continues to maintain a very impressive physique, I think. You know, I remember he won an Arnold Classic previously, and Arnold Schwarzenegger asked him himself at that show. I'm sure you guys probably remember. He asked him, why don't you show the legs? You know, Arnold just thinks it was very strange. Now, in terms of what we're seeing from Brandon Hendrickson here, and this guy seems to be ageless, dude. You know, this guy is a fantastic competitor. He always shows up in good shape. He's very impressive, I think, overall. Brings the proper level of conditioning. The midsection is in check. You can see the legs. He definitely has a set of legs under those shorts. So, I mean, this is what I consider to be pretty much the pinnacle of men's physique. And, you know, you see this guy, and it is a pretty good amount of muscle, too. This is not an embarrassing physique by any stretch of the imagination. And it just shows the progression of the division. You know, it really does show the progression of the division of men's physique. Manuel Hunter, that's a name that I do recognize in men's physique. Top 2 in 22 and 23. So let's see what he's looking like overall. He's got trunks that really come up higher than what they need to as well. Doesn't seem too bad. Doesn't seem too bad. I think he's maybe lacking a little bit of conditioning as compared to some of the other guys. Jack say I prefer Terry because of low drama. Yeah, I agree. That's one thing that the men's physique competitors haven't really escaped. Some of the guys at the top, um, it's kind of just a drama queen type scenario with a lot of these competitors. It kind of is embarrassing. It's not something I enjoy. Black Patron, imagine how much better Open would be if we didn't have Classic and men's physique. Yeah, it would be better. I agree. I absolutely agree. But I think at the same time, it has grown the sport. I think that those divisions have grown the sport. So I'm okay with them. I'm okay with them. And especially given what Classic is, I enjoy Classic. It's my second favorite division. And men's physique is at a better level now than what it was, before. Well, the guys went from too small when they first started to too big, and essentially were just Classic guys or smaller bodybuilders. This division found its foothold. It's in a good spot now, and I appreciate it for what it is. You're never going to see me cover it on my channel on a regular basis. That's not going to happen. But I think I do have a better appreciation for it overall. Okay, Emmanuel Jesus Oliveira da Costa. Looks like a pretty decent looking men's physique overall, I think. I feel like this is something where you want to see a little bit more through the lats, a little bit more defined arms, or not arms, but abs rather. His shoulders and arms look very defined. Yeah, see, he needs more width. Definitely needs more width. And you could see that when he first walked out. You don't know, like, when it comes to the weight cap and stuff like that, I don't have a good eye to judge how close these guys may or may not be to their weight cap, because I really don't know the weight caps in this division either. Okay, next up, Birak Ozkul. Interesting. Only 45 seconds routines. Well, I mean, there's no poses that they hit really, right? I mean, what else can you really do up there? Yeah, this is another situation where you want to see a little bit more development of the abs, maybe crunching down on the abs a little bit more. You want to see a guy that might be maybe a little wider, a little bit more developed in the back. Even the legs, maybe a little bit. Men's divisions, and I get it, and it's fine. Having so many women's divisions is weird in my opinion. Look, they've all found their place, and they have people that are willing to compete in those divisions. So, I mean, if you build it, well, not if you build it, they will come, but no, there's clearly a call for something similar to what they have now. So, it's making its way through when it comes to the women's divisions. I think there could stand to be maybe more consolidation. But there's lots of competitors in each of them, so that is saying something. Like I said, it's tough to have a routine when it comes to men's physique because there's not really poses, quote unquote, to hit. It's more just standing relaxed. But you see a competitor like this, got a little bit of flair. He's got a little bit of movement through the feet, presenting his physique, I think, quite well. I think that's what you want to see when it comes to men's physique these days. And so this is the last competitor, Lucas Wadis, in men's physique. So this is a pretty incredible taper that this guy has. And this guy seems to have a pretty good taper. I'd like to see more, like deeper etched out abs are definitely more of an advantage, but not that he has a bad set of abs here, but I don't agree with the fit model crap. Look, that's where I draw the line. Fit model is, I mean, it's a lackluster bikini. No, I don't agree with the fit model thing either. I don't. I will draw the line there. But yeah, good development, I think, from this competitor. Not bad at all. This is the finals for the men's physique. So we are looking at, just to give you guys an update on the schedule. The Arnold is running on time right now. We are currently looking at the men's physique final round, and then we will probably within the next 10 or 15 minutes, they'll have what's called a special presentation on the schedule. Okay, so they are going to do the confirmation round for men's physique now. But like I said, after that, within the next probably 13 minutes, if they stay on schedule, that will be the special presentation. That will last roughly about 15 minutes. That's a good chance for you guys to go get a shake, go get a meal, do something like that. You'll have about a 15-minute break. The special presentations, I will say, are usually pretty entertaining. But if you guys are looking for a break to hit the washroom or anything like that, that's going to be the time to do it. Unless you really don't care about men's physique, you could go do it now. Just make sure you come back and hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for being here on EP09 Bodybuilding. I really do appreciate every single one of you guys being here. And I just want to take this opportunity again to tell you guys, make sure you go over to the arnoldsports.com website, register for the official live stream, make sure that they get their numbers off of you. It is such an anomaly in bodybuilding to have a show of this caliber, give the fans of the sport a free live stream, you guys. Go show your appreciation. Go and register on the arnoldsports.com website. It's definitely worth doing. At 100%. So just going with the first call-out, you see 7 guys in one call-out. That's something that I just don't quite understand. 7 guys in one call-out, that's a lot of competitors to really compare. No, that's a lot. When you see that in bodybuilding, it's always usually typically followed up by a smaller comparison. I don't think you'll see that here in men's physique, but seems like they've kind of made their decision at this point. But Brandon Hendrickson wasn't in the first call-out. Yeah, that's a very good point. That's very strange, isn't it? Brandon's got to be pissed. Brandon's got to be pissed. Wow. Now, after me saying that this is what I consider more of the standard of what guys should strive for in men's physique, he ends up in the bottom 8, like 8, 9, 10, 11. What is happening right now? They're working backwards. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? Thank you, Mr. Rogers 187. That speaks to my inexperience in men's physique in particular, and my inability to really call how good these guys may or may not be. But yeah, this would be a show where I would expect Brandon Hendrickson to win. Okay, and that is the confirmation round for men's physique. And you guys, the show is running exactly on time. That's fantastic. So next up is a special presentation in the Arnold Classic schedule. Checking out the poll, the new poll that's been put up, getting up to about 200 votes. Who do you have ahead after the individual routines? We have 51% for Nick Walker after putting up a new poll. Andrew Jack sitting at 29%. Fairly well ahead of Hadi Chupin here with about 11 points ahead as compared to the previous poll where they were pretty much neck and neck. Martin Fitzwater at 2%. But again, you guys still overwhelmingly saying that Nick Walker is ahead after the individual routine. You guys wanted a new poll put up in order to re-vote, to really say where you think these guys are now as opposed to before we saw the individual routines. And so far, Nick Walker pulling ahead. So far, we see Nick Walker still in the lead. I'm interested to know what you guys think about that. You guys tell me, should Nick Walker take home the win? And in your opinion, has he done enough so far to secure that victory? For me personally, I gotta see these or I gotta see these comparisons. I have to see what these guys look like standing next to each other. To give it a quick recap of what took place during the individual routines, there were certain things that we were looking for out of the top four. For Nick, we wanted to see him maintain that razor sharp conditioning. We wanted to make sure that he was still going to have a good amount of roundness and fullness, and that midsection, of course, number one thing for Nick Walker has to be the focus on keeping that midsection in and as tight as possible. I think that Nick did accomplish that overall. I think that Nick wasn't losing control of the midsection that I really noted. He's never going to have the prettiest midsection, but control-wise, I think he did quite well. Although I did mention that he didn't have the immediate wow factor of what I first saw when he came out for the prejudging. Now, I don't know if that means that Nick is not as good as what we saw yesterday. But what we do know is that Andrew Jacked, Martin Fitzwater, and Hadi Chupin all showed up much better. I actually think that Hadi is the most improved of anybody so far. I think that Hadi is the most improved. Saw the detail in the quads as well as in the lower body from the back. Hadi was notably missing that yesterday. I do think that he has it back now. And I do think that makes him much more dangerous to, knock down some points for Nick. Getting into some of the comments from you guys. Jonathan Junjun says, I got Andrew first, second Hadi, Nick in third, and Martin in fourth. David Esquivel 10 says, Nick 100%. He improved big time. Juice Lee TV. Nick Walker is popular, but he only has freak factor. You need more than that. And I agree. Nick also needs the rest of these guys to be off, which they were yesterday, but they are not today. So that is saying something. Andrew Jack looked the best from the individual routines. Nick has only 3 knockout shots. We went through the individual poses yesterday to really see who won pose for pose. And from what I could see, I think 6 out of 8 Nick took pretty handily. There's arguments, in certain poses for certain things, but overall, I think I had Nick 6 out of 8 poses. Jay Gippo says, I want Nick to win, but I understand the midsection bubble gut comments. If Nick loses, that is going to be why. That is going to be why. They are giving out a Lifetime Achievement Award to none other than the Blade, Dexter Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. Lifetime Achievement Award. Fantastic. I mean, did Dexter win 5? I think it's 5 Arnold Classics. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. I like the symmetry of Andrew better. Nick wins for veininess and grainy look. Yeah, Nick was superior in conditioning without question. I could be wrong, but that's how I interpret it, because Nick's shape is not as good despite his conditioning. Blindly poor shape. Nick will never out-shape anybody. Like I said, the rest of the guys have to be off. Tonight, they're not. Yeah, tonight they're not. Let's see. For me, it's not a 50. Oh, sorry, 9 times internationally. That's insane. Wow. They call him the Blade for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. Hadi win game over Hadi. I don't know about that. No, I don't know about that. Maybe if Hadi would have showed up yesterday like he did tonight. Could be. It could be, but Hadi was notably off yesterday. I think there's no denying that. Nick has no improvements in these finals. He's regressing a little bit. Let's see in the comparison round. I comment based on what I see, not on popularity. Judge them fairly, no bias at all. Yeah, I think that's what the majority of people do here. I think everybody has their favorites, but I think that overall that, these are opinions given without a large amount of bias. I think that is fair to say. Dex is a beast. Yeah, he is a beast, man. Unreal. He's been trying to get back in shape lately, too. Kind of pushing it a little bit more. Nick in the poor poses is bad versus Andrew in poor poses is not bad at all. That's an interesting way to look at it. Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it. Nick in the poor poses is bad versus Andrew in poor poses is not bad at all. I don't know if Andrew really has, like, side tricep, I guess you could say, is kind of a poor pose for Andrew. He doesn't execute it very well. But I mean, front double, back double, side chest. He has been criticized for his side chest as well, I guess you could say that. But, no, I don't know. I mean, back double is good, back lat is good, abs and thigh, some of the best ever, most muscular. So I don't know. Don't most points come from the prejudging? No. Finals definitely can't. Desmond Elliott, Arnold is talking. Okay, I'll leave. Sorry, brother. Desmond, if you want to hear Arnold talk at the stream, I said Dexter is, Dexter is just giving his speech to, give. It's probably hard to sum up 25 years, or not 25 years. It's probably hard to sum up what you want to sum up when it comes to receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award, Dexter in his pro bodybuilding career winning more shows than any bodybuilder to date. Yes. There's one in the women's division, I think, that has won more shows, but yeah, Dexter's the most winningest bodybuilder, in history. Nick should have taken a dump before getting on stage. I think you could say that about Muhammad Fuda. Honestly. Muhammad Fuda was a shadow of what I think we were all expecting in terms of what he looked like on Instagram versus what he did not look like on stage. There was a massive difference there. Absolutely massive. I couldn't believe the difference, to be completely honest. So Muhammad Fuda's definitely got some work to do. Jonathan Junju, Nick is tighter in prejudging and finals individual posing routine. His bubble gut got exposed on some shots. Even obvious in transitions. If Nick maintains the time he comes out in prejudging, he gets the win. Look, we're going to see the individual presentations here very shortly. I don't really know how Nick is going to compare now that we have seen the improvements from Hadi, Andrew, and Martin. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Martin is a shoe-in for third here. Or, sorry, for fourth. Because he has made improvements. And although I still would like to see Brandon next to him, I do think that Martin will end up with fourth, ultimately. Brandon should be given the shot. 100%. Brandon should be given the shot. But in all likelihood, that's what I think is going to happen right now. Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen right now. When did you start to become interested in bodybuilding? Ooh. I used to train at a gym called Moxon Fitness. I still train there. Everybody down there at the time, back in like the early 2000s, everybody was a competitor. All the boys down there competed, and we used to go to the local shows here, provincial shows. Really started getting into it then. Pro bodybuilding was in around the same time, but I really started following the sport, I think, really when I moved into this house, 2013, 2014. That's when I really started following the sport intently. Deciding to start my channel in 2022. Dexter the GOAT. Dexter is the GOAT. There's no question. Dexter Jackson is the GOAT of bodybuilding. Black Patron says, gotta be honest, I was expecting issues with Mahfoud's midsection. Really? I was expecting him to show up better. You gotta let me know why you were expecting issues. Because, I mean, it was very, very bad. It really was bad. Jonathan Junjun, as the show goes on, Nick is regressing bit by bit, even more on final individual posing routine. What is happening to Nick's physique? I think it's too early to say that yet. I think that we need to see these guys in the individuals, which we will see within the next probably about, let me see, confirmation round. And we'll see how much time it's going to end up being. It seems like they're a little ahead of schedule, so maybe within the next 20 minutes or so, we'll see confirmation rounds that way. We'll see. We'll see. I think the poll shows that the average fan doesn't really understand bodybuilding is not about who you relate with the most. Let's see. Poll results as of right now, very similar to what we were seeing earlier, with Nick Walker having a pretty substantial lead, but Andrew Jack 10 points ahead of Hadi Chupin, as opposed to them being neck and neck with the first poll. I think that I don't think that people are voting necessarily based on who you relate with the most. People definitely can vote based on their favorites. There's no getting around that. But no, I think it's fairly representative of at least what the fans of this channel really want to have, or who they think is going to win. And like I said, I did make that pretty, I think I made that pretty clear. Vote for who you think is ahead after the individual routines, based on the judges. Based on the judges. Not who we want, but who we think the judges are going to pick, because that's really what it comes down to. We can talk about, of course, what we want when it comes to these placings, but ultimately it comes down to the judges. Black Patron, I see that. You're welcome, Freedom Fightress. Appreciate you being here. I expected Mahfoud's midsection to have issues because I've seen his hernia being an issue in previous showings, but he's put on size since then. Yeah, but it literally looked like he just finished eating like I don't even know, man. 2 plates of pasta is what it looked like. It looked like undigested food. That's honestly what it looked like to me. Hadi looks really downsized from the side and back. I'll have to see in the comparisons. I'll have a better idea then. Even in the photos leading up to the show, you could see there being something going on with his lower abs. He did improve his back. Yeah, his back still needs a lot of work, though. Muhammad Foda has a lot of work to do in the back departments. A lot. But again, that midsection is definitely something that that was an issue, is an issue. I honestly couldn't believe what I saw when it came to his midsection. I was very surprised at that. Is Nick having a boy or girl? Sean L7945. Oh, man. No, Nick's midsection, look, it's not the best, obviously. But it's not distended. There's a difference between having a wide midsection. That's actually a very good point to make here. There's a difference between having a wider midsection and having a distended midsection. Midsection distension, usually there's something you can do about that. Having a wider midsection, very little that you can do about that. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to the proper volume of whatever it is you have in your stomach being less than what you need to step on stage and keep that midsection as tight as possible. You know, so Nick has a wide midsection, but I don't think he had a distended midsection. Does that make sense to you guys? I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments if that makes sense to you guys. Crizzo is working towards Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh and New York. And New York. Slayer 32R. What's the news on why Crizzo did not make the list for this show? I don't think Crizzo went after this show. You know, Crizzo has actually won 5 Arnold Classic International titles himself when he was in the IFBB Elite Pro. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. Crizzo has been on Arnold Classic stages, not obviously the biggest one, but no, Crizzo was recovering from his shoulder surgery as well. He had, I think, a very specific timeline that he wanted to work on in terms of progressing his physique and competing. So this is where we saw Crizzo take the time to make the improvements that he felt was necessary. Also working with George Farah. A lot of people don't remember that. And he decided that Pittsburgh and New York would make the most sense. Nick looks off. Hadi harder and Andrew harder. I don't know if Nick is off. That was one of the things that I was saying about Nick showing up, you know, as good as he did at prejudging. If he doesn't show up with that same thing at the finals or better, then the other guys looking better could affect Nick's placings. Okay, we are moving into the confirmation right now, ladies and gentlemen. The confirmation round of the men's open division is happening. We are going to see it right here, right now. Let's see who we're going to have in that first call-out. This is what we've been waiting for, you guys. This is it. So, let's see it. Who's going to be in the center? My guess is Andrew's going to be right in the center. I would say that you'll see Hadi start right in the center. My guess is they'll have Nick and Martin to the outside. Hadi, Andrew. Ooh, top 3. Now, this is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. This makes it interesting. We've got a top 3 call-out right now confirmed. We've got Nick, Hadi, Andrew, and I hope they give... And they keep Nick in the center. Okay, comparison-wise, front double. Hadi looks good, man. Yeah, comparable, though. Comparable. See that side chest. Signature pose for Nick. All these guys got a really good side chest. Andrew was improved in his side chest. Hadi is very much improved. I think Nick was counting on that side chest really being a knockout shot for him. I don't know if it was. I'd still give the back double to Nick all day. Yep, I'd give that one to Nick. Yeah, Nick is the same or slightly worse. You're right. Yeah, I don't think we're seeing as much quad detail from Nick. I think back lat spread I'd probably give to Nick too, between Nick and Hadi. Hadi looking toddy. Yeah, exactly. Side tricep. Nick's side leg is stripped out though, man. I don't know. I like Nick's side tricep. So Martin and Brandon will be compared. Exactly. Exactly. Good point. Abs and thigh. Yeah, look, that's an Andrew Jack pose. Most muscular. Andrew no longer does the crab, thank God. The crab pose did not treat Andrew very well. Just one round. 1 round of posing, ladies and gentlemen. We had Nick Walker in the center of the only round of the mandatory poses. Now, that tells us that the judges have made their decision. Now, here's a comparison that we all wanted to see as well, okay? Brandon Curry, Martin Fitzwater. Let's see it. Who deserves 4th place? This is the battle for 4th. Front double I'd give to Brandon. Front lat spread. I like Brandon in that one. So, side chest. Oh, Brandon is really hard through the upper body. I like Brandon in that shot. Okay, back double. Now, this is an area where Martin should be able to defeat these guys. But I think Brandon has more detail. He doesn't have the leg size, but I think he has more detail in that upper back. You can see some lines in the glutes for Brandon. Back lat spread. Back lat spread, I'd probably go with Martin. Yeah, I think I would go with Martin for the back lat spread, but that's the first pose that I can give him. Side tricep, I would give to Brandon. Wait, did you miss the start? Yes, you did miss the start, Enigma1490. Sorry, brother. You missed the start. Abs and thigh, you could consider Martin for that one. Like, Raphael just doesn't have the size, man. Look at the look on Martin's face, okay? Martin is not happy right now. He is pissed. And this is one of the things about Martin Fitzwater that I think does end up affecting him. Martin starts getting upset. Look at him. Stone-faced. He is not happy that he was not in that top 3 call-out. Okay? Not happy at all. When you start looking like that, you get very upset. Your cortisol levels rise. You end up washing out your physique. I mean, these are the minute differences between a true professional of the sport, such as a guy like Brandon Curry. Look at Raphael Brandao. You know, you can see that Martin is just straight pissed. Like, he doesn't even want to be there. This is 4th to 6th. Yes. Martin might be in pain. He's injured. What's the injury? What's the injury? But I liked Brandon in that back double. I like Martin better in the back lat spread. I would like to give that one to Martin. Side tricep, you could go with either Brandon or Martin on that. Oh, he injured his hamstring right before prejudging. Well, he looked okay last night. He didn't look pissed last night. Tonight, he honestly just looks pissed. So, I don't think the excuse of the hurt hamstring can really be an excuse for him. Look, see, I mean, he doesn't crack a smile, nothing. Martin doesn't. He looks like he doesn't even want to be there. Sorry, Martin didn't look okay last night. Martin didn't look like he was pissed last night. He didn't look pissed is what I mean. His physique was not good. Let's get that cleared up. But he looked like he wasn't in extreme pain. He was, smiling when he was being compared in the top 4. The second that they took him out of that top 3 is a possibility. Martin looks like he just wants to walk off stage and never bodybuild ever again. Yeah, Martin's injury is just his feelings getting hurt. Yeah. Do steroids shrink their hot dog? Yeah, of course it does. Yes. Yes, it does. They need to send Martin on an anger management course. We all have things that we need to work on. Martin has things a little bit more visible, I think, that he needs to work on because he is in the public eye. Um, but yeah, this is where we're at. We'll see if they do another call out. I would not be surprised if they end up doing another call out when it comes to the top three. But I am very glad that we were able to see the comparison from the injury is not a lie. Oh, I believe it. I believe that he's injured, but I don't believe that the reason that he looks like he's ready to walk off stage and never compete again tonight is because of that injury. I think it's because he's pissed that he didn't make it in that top four call out. And I think you could just see it written all over his face. Yeah, Akeem does look really good. Yeah. Props to Akeem Williams, man. Like, I'm a big fan of Akeem. I always really like Akeem. All right, top three coming back out again, ladies and gentlemen. Coming back out again. And look, Hadi runs for the center. So, they're going to move guys around this time, or they're going to keep Nick in the center? Okay, they're going to put Hadi in the center. That's what I figured. All right, let's see it. Looks like Nick got better. Am I crazy, or does it look like Nick's quads are more detailed now? Similar to what we saw yesterday. I could be wrong. Side chest, very good for all these guys, but I mean, Hadi really has that hardness to the upper body and that side chest. Okay, back double. Look, back double, I'd give that to Nick. I would give the back double to Nick. Back lat spread, a little bit harder because Hadi has such extreme width and Andrew's so aesthetic. But I mean, Nick is dominating in that lower body, and he's got good balance from top to bottom. I'd go with Nick. Yeah, see, you really see that midsection for Hadi. Hadi just really digs down on them abs when it comes to the side tricep. Looks very, very good. Abs and thigh. Again, the midsection for Hadi, ridiculous. Nick taking a few steps forward. That's exactly what you should do. But I think Nick did get better as he continued to pose. And Nick is going back to the center, ladies and gentlemen. Nick is back in the center. The judges can see it. We can see it. The detail is coming out in Nick Walker as he continues to pose. Ladies and gentlemen, these are tectonic bodybuilding plates that are moving right in front of us. This is incredible. This is incredible. Look at that side leg for Nick. But again, that hardness in the upper body for Hadi, you cannot deny that serratus, the midsection for Hadi, far superior to Nick. And Andrew not getting a chance to stand in the center yet. Interesting. You know, Andrew definitely needed some more oil last night, and it looks like he solved that today. Look at the lower body difference when it comes to Nick Walker. Like I said, those are where the arguments are being made. These are where the arguments are being made. I think Nick's got to hit these shots a little harder if you're going to stand in the middle. Look, Hadi is posing with extreme confidence. Yeah, a couple steps forward. Very good. Let's see it. Let's see it. Yes. And the striations through the chest on Hadi, just incredible. Okay, now we're going to put Andrew in the center. Very good, very good. Very good, very good. See when Nick steps out on the stage, the way his gut hangs. Yeah, like we said, I mean, Nick's not going to have the most aesthetic midsection. There's no question. Yeah, you do got to remember, you're right, Black Patron. They are watching you at all times. Looks like Hadi's got a little bit more detail in that side leg now, though. But again, Nick Walker in that back double, very difficult to defeat. Okay, very good, very good. Yep. Okay, moving on to the side tricep. Again, I think this is probably a Hadi pose. But I think Nick hit it better there than he did the previous round. Yeah, abs and thigh. And here we go, the final most muscular, ladies and gentlemen. Hadi is so detailed in the chest. This is what we wanted to see from Hadi Chupin. But like I said, Nick, I think making improvements in terms of conditioning, you know, that muscle pushing against the skin, I think Nick did improve more than Hadi or Andrew as he continued to pose. That is the confirmation round, ladies and gentlemen. Now, time for a new poll. This poll is ending. We are putting up a new poll. New poll coming up. Who will win the Arnold Classic 2026? Nick Walker, Andrew Jacked, or Hadi Chupin? Okay, new poll. New poll. I'm going to be honest, this is going to be a coin flip for me, Enigma 1490. I think a lot of people are going to be in that boat. They will never give it to Hadi again. He's Iranian. Don't be so sure about that. Don't be so sure about that. Of all the transitions could end up costing Nick. It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. Enigma 1490. I'm gonna be honest, I've never been the biggest Nick fan, but I still think it could go any way. Yeah, see, this is just it. This is the thing about what we just witnessed, right? Look at it from what happened from prejudging to now, right? We saw at prejudging Nick Walker show up absolutely lights out, okay? At 100% for what Nick can bring. Andrew, Hadi, Martin's kind of out of it at this point, did not bring their best. Nick was able to expose these guys because of that. Now tonight, Nick showing up when he first came out, not as good as yesterday. You know, not as good, but Hadi massively improved. Andrew, I think, improved overall as well. Martin, again, yes, I think improved, but Martin's battling for 4th place, and I hope he ends up in 5th, because I think Brandon just beat him. But regardless of that, Nick continuing to pose and get better as he was posing through the individual comparisons, seeing Nick Walker stand in the center of the stage the majority of the time. Guys, this is coming down to... It's coming down to single digit, like 1 point to another. This is going to be a very close show on the judges' scorecards, okay? A very close show. Okay, coming in now to the wheelchair division. Wheelchair division giving out, what do we have? James Berger, 1st place for wheelchair bodybuilding. Here we go. James Berger, 1st place, wheelchair. Just imagine Good Vito on stage. I don't know about Good Vito being on stage, man. I don't know about that. Good Vito with some improvements? Good possibility. Black Patron. Andrew's gut is just as big. What? Reign of Chaos FPS? I don't know about that. You know, it's definitely not as wide. I don't know about that. Yeah, I think that's a stretch. Hadi has never lost to Nick. Hadi Chupin may very well lose to Nick Walker on this very stage tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We may see history being made where Nick Walker could defeat all of these guys. Nick Walker could defeat every single person in this lineup tonight on the Arnold Classic stage. It would be his first victory in 5 years on this stage, and he would go home $750,000 richer. This is a very distinct possibility tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Do not kid yourself. Nick Walker does have a path to victory, and we have that confirmed by where the judges just placed him in the callouts, spending more time in the center than anybody else. It could be an indicator, okay? Could be. Andrew's side tricep, for instance, could be way better if he could hold his abs in like Hadi. Yeah, Hadi crunches down on his abs, very, very well, showing the definition he has in the midsection. It's almost like Andrew needs to flex down in his lower abs more. When do we have the final awards for Open? Should be pretty soon, really. They're going to do the awards for Bikini. Then they're going to do the awards for Men's Physique. And then they will be doing the awards for the Men's Open. So it won't take very long for them to pull this off, you guys. And they are ahead of schedule here at the Arnold Classic. I love it. They are ahead of schedule. Okay, bikini competitors are coming back out. They will be giving out the awards to the bikini competitors. Steve went easy on them this time. Mick seemed to hold well. Yeah, I think that they did an appropriate number of comparisons. I think it was fine. I'm just glad Nick got a shot. Everybody got their shot in the center, and we saw Brandon get compared with Martin Fitzwater, which was absolutely proper. I think we saw the judging done right so far. We'll see what the decisions are going to be. Andrew could also have better midsection control. Yeah, I mean, sure he could. But I mean, he's known for having one of the best midsections in the IFBB right now at the same time. He is. Rubiel Mosquera on stage. Hopefully the next time we see him on an Arnold Classic stage, he's competing. That would be nice. Martin says, Jack Say says, Martin says Fouad is responsible for his pacing today for choosing Samson in Prague. Not sure what you mean. His placing today for choosing Samson in Prague. I don't think that one has to do with the other. Andrew's side tricep, for instance, could be way better if he could hold his abs in like Hadi. Yeah, we talked about that. Zylo29, he did improve his side tri compared to prejudging. Andrew controlled his midsection all the time until the very end where he had to take a breather. Yeah, I noticed Andrew was starting to wipe his head a little bit when it was getting onto him being in the center. Freedom Fighter 17, like always, the one with the least weaknesses will win, and that was Hadi. That's definitely arguable. Definitely arguable. We'll see. Seems like Phil and Nick seem to hint that they think it's Hadi, Nick, and Andrew. Entirely possible. Yeah, entirely possible. Yes, his side tricep was better at the finals. Yeah, I agree. It definitely was. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's about 500K after taxes. You're right about that. Nobody ever talked about the taxes, but look, if these guys have it issued to an LLC, then they might be able to write off part of the tax as a business expense or something. Not expense, but they might have a portion to be tax deductible. Who knows? According to many sources, Martin strained his Valentine's Day mailbox. Oh, Martin. For what it's worth, Enigma1490 says, for what it's worth, I'm sure Arnold isn't happy with that midsection. No, Martin, Arnold is very vocal about what he considers to be, superior physiques as compared to others. He's not a fan of Nick Walker's physique. We all know that. But At the end of the day, this is bodybuilding, and we'll see how Big Steve and the rest of the judges want to place these guys based on the bodybuilding criteria. But we also will not make the mistake of kidding ourselves that Arnold does not have some sort of an influence on how this show is going to go. Let's not kid ourselves. Chris Aceto says, Andrew, well, of course, he's coaching him. I watched the interview that Chris Aceto did with Dave Palumbo after the prejudging, and I typically agree. I was talking to a friend of mine, actually, Derek McDonald. He's been a competitor for years. It is quite often that I agree with Chris and Dave, but the bias that came from Chris Aceto in that interview was blatant, and I mean blatant, toward Andrew. But of course, he is coaching him, so let's not, we won't read into it too much. It's expected. Freedom Fighter 17, like the stream and subscribe. Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here. Checking out some of the poll results after the first 10 minutes. Still, who will win the Arnold Classic 2026? You guys, this is now the third poll that I've put up in this chat, okay? The first one was, who do you have ahead after prejudging? That went to Nick having over 50%. Then it was who was ahead after the individual routines. That went to Nick over 50%. And now we have another poll after the confirmation round of who will win the Arnold Classic 2026. And again, we have Nick Walker at 53% of the vote. Now, with all those other polls as well, Andrew Jack was sitting above Hadi Chupin, except for the first poll where they were kind of going back and forth with a percentage here, a percentage there. But this is generally what we've been seeing throughout the night. So in turn, as of right now, I feel the fans of bodybuilding have spoken. Who will win the Arnold Classic 2026 in the eyes of you guys? Nick Walker. As for who I think is going to be the winner, that's a difficult one. That's a difficult one for me. I'm back and forth between Hadi and Nick as of right now. I'm going back and forth between the two. I want to say Nick. I do. I want to say Nick. Chris Aceto might be more biased than Milos. He was definitely more biased than Milos. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Chris can be pretty bad sometimes. He absolutely can. Hadi 1, 2, Nick 3, Andrew Jack 4th, Martin Fitzwater 5th, Brandon. Very interesting, you guys. Very interesting. Okay, while they're just giving the award speech, 30 seconds. I'll be right back. Okay, here we are. We do not have a declared winner for the Open as of yet. We will see. Next up will be the Men's Physique Awards, and then we will have the awards for the Men's Open. But in the eyes of the fans as of right now, 53% of you guys say Nick Walker will win the Arnold Classic 2026. And now the men's physique coming out, you guys. Brandon Hendrickson is my guess is going to take home the win here. Brandon was lights out, in my opinion. Press one more time. All right. Go. Thanks, Freedom Fightress. Appreciate it. This is a clear Hadi win. You can't ignore the midsection. It's a beauty pageant more than you give credit for. It's not just me. No, it's not just me. And at the end of the day, it's not a beauty pageant. At the end of the day, it's a muscle contest. You know, this is open bodybuilding. I want to see the muscle rewarded. Okay? Not that Nick was dwarfing anyone in terms of muscle mass, you know. That's the other side of it, is all these guys, like, from a size perspective, were fairly comparable, except for Nick in the legs from the back. Lights out, destroyed everybody. Destroyed everybody. But bodybuilding is a muscle contest, okay? Dilson Silva taking home 5th place. Never heard of him. Because I don't know men's physique, you guys. I just don't. But we will see in a few short minutes, you guys, we will have the men's open placings of exactly where these guys are going to be placed. Like I said, as of right now, I think it's going to go Nick, Hadi, Andrew, Brandon, Martin. I think that's how it's going to go. We'll see if I am proven correct or incorrect, but this is where I'm at with it right now, you guys. If Nick loses, it's because of Arnold's influence. Well, Arnold did, you know, quote unquote, allow Nick to win in 2021. Nick was a different physique then, of course. Just speaking with Eric Janicki, I messaged Eric and I asked him who he's got winning the Open tonight. And as of right now, Eric's got Nick. I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah. I'm going with it. I'm going to say Nick. I did refresh my stream. I did. Yeah, this is up to date for me. This is up to date for me. Manuel Hunter. I'm familiar with that name. Oh, you didn't mean you, like you specifically, like you in general. Okay, I understand. Okay. I'll say whoever wins, people are not going to be happy no matter what. Well, Enigma1490, you make an excellent point there. Somebody is going to be unhappy with the placings. We'll see who it's going to end up being. I won't be upset if Hadi wins. I will be surprised if Andrew wins, though, I think. At this point, I think I will be surprised. I think based on where the judges kind of had these guys for the confirmation round, and like I said, based on what Nick brought to prejudging, you cannot forget about prejudging. It is not all about tonight. Have to remember, prejudging makes a huge difference, you guys, okay? Huge. Looking at the comments again, appreciate you guys getting into the comments. Make sure you hit that subscribe button here on EPzeronine Bodybuilding. You guys, we are back in full force here on EP09. And we will see the winner of the Arnold Classic 2026 Men's Open Division as soon as they give Brandon Hendrickson his trophy. I don't know how many he's won now, but I know he's won more than one. like I said before, Brandon Hendrickson a few years ago, Arnold Schwarzenegger asked him, "Why don't you train the legs?" And he was like, "I train the legs. I'll show you my legs." I can't believe that he's still at it and he's still at the level that he's at, man. I mean, Brandon Hendrickson is a staple in men's physique. He has been for years, and he's actually adapted to the division as it's gone through these changes. So good on him. You know, very, very good champion, very well deserving champion. Good legs. You know, good legs. Let's see what Arnold has to say to him now. Man, I'll be interested to see if Arnold says anything to him. No? No, it doesn't seem like he's gonna. But yeah, very well deserving champion. Good for him. You guys, we are only minutes away from the decision of the men's open finals, okay? We are only minutes away. Stay right here on EP09. We are going to have the final decision in a few short minutes. Like I said, for myself right now, let me know your guys' top 5 in the comments before the guys get on stage. Let's hear your top 5 one more time. You guys mind? I'm going to go with Nick, Hadi, Andrew, Brandon, and then Martin. So, let's see what ends up happening. So that you guys get your final vote in on the poll as well. Still overwhelmingly in Nick Walker's favor. But we shall see. 54% for Nick Walker as of right now. 25% for Andrew Jack. Hadi Chupin moving up a bit. No, there was about a 10-point difference. About a 10-point difference between Andrew and Hadi originally, and now it's gone down to about 3-point difference, 3 to 4. Let's hear it. AI says Hadi won on March 7th, 2026. Yeah, meh. AI, yeah. Look, I use AI every day, but I don't ask it about bodybuilding placings. Sure, but the lack of competitors being shredded speaks for itself. That is not opinion. Yeah, the guys did not show up at... Here's the thing, though. If you're talking about prejudging, it is not common for us to see Hadi not show up in shape. When it comes to Martin, he's been inconsistent, but we saw a really, really good version of Martin back at the Prague Pro, which was not that long ago. And Andrew has been making progress in terms of his overall conditioning as well. So the lack of conditioning, I think, in this show does speak for itself. And that is where, again, Nick does have a path to victory. And they are bringing out the men's open individual, ladies and gentlemen. They are going to bring out Jim. Who are they bringing out? Jim McMahon from Mutant. Best Poser Award. Who's going to get the Best Poser Award? Andrew? Andrew Jacked. Yep. Andrew Jacked wins the 2026 Ed Corney Best Poser Award. No surprise there. Yeah, no surprise there that Andrew goes home with at least a trophy. Now, conversation now is they give somebody, you know, the most muscular trophy, they give someone the best poser trophy. Maybe that means that you don't win the big trophy, right? I don't necessarily subscribe to that. I think that you can be the best poser and be the best physique on stage as well, right? So I don't think this is telling. I don't buy into that. Best poser award yet. Least control over his mandatories. Interesting how that works, huh? Interesting how that works. Okay, there's one more award going out before they give the final placings. Oh yes, this is the award on behalf of Franco Colombo. Right. All right, they're bringing out actually Franco's wife and daughter. Franco Colombo Most Muscular Award. Nick Walker wins the Most Muscular Award, ladies and gentlemen. No surprise there. A very deserved Nick Walker taking home that Most Muscular. Now, again, I don't think we should read into this too much. There are instances where you will see guys win these Most Musculars and that win these Best Posers, right? And they still win the championship. Because, like I said, you can be the best poser, you can be the most muscular, and you can still win. I mean, they weren't going to give it to Hadi for most muscular. They were going to give it to Nick. Nick had that. The second that Nick signed his name on the dotted line for the Arnold Classic, as far as I'm concerned, Nick won the most muscular award. Okay. Does that mean that Hadi won? I don't know. David Bay making a very good point that if you're going to win the most muscular award, then you've got to hit a most muscular. That's a good point. Yes, sir. And he is, man. He is a freak of freaks. So, we'll see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, Serious and Silliness Bodybuilding in the chat. John Livia. I will be joining John on his podcast this coming Monday. John, what's going on? Tell me who you got in your top 5, John. All right, they're going to bring everybody back out. Everybody's coming back out. There's a reason why he's called the Mutant. Absolutely. Because he is the Mutant. Nick Walker is the Mutant. $10. John. Thank you, sir. Man. That's like $15 Canadian. John, you don't need to do that, brother. You don't need to do that. Thank you very much, dude. I appreciate it. Fuck, what a guy. Go subscribe to Serious and Silliness Bodybuilding, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks a lot, John, man. I don't know. I just got home. Figured I can use it. Fuck off. Listen, we'll hash this out on Monday, all right? Oh, that's hilarious. Right. Rafael Brandau taking 6th. Here we go, you guys. We're into the final awards. John, thanks for showing up at the last minute. Okay, so Nick and Phil thinks that it's going to be Brandon for 5th. I think it should go to Brandon for 4th. Martin did get better, but I think Brandon. I want to see Brandon take 4th. I do. I think that Martin showing up the way he did at prejudging, I don't think he should be rewarded for it. I don't think that he should be rewarded for it. Okay, 5th place. Branch Warren taking the stage to give out 5th place. Fifth place, Brandon Curry. Okay. Not unexpected, but I think unfortunate. You can see Martin back there. He knows he's next. Martin knows he's next. He is not going to look happy about it. I would have put Brandon in 4th place here. I do understand when it comes to Martin and the way that he showed up, but I still don't think that he should be rewarded for, the audacity of showing up on stage the way he did yesterday. Davey Attic says garbage call. I agree. Ronnie hanging out in the back. Okay, 4th place being awarded by Kai Green. And that goes to Martin Fitzwater. And let's see how pissed Martin looked. Shaking everybody's hand at least. We'll give him that. Maybe that'll brighten up his day a little bit. Martin brushed by someone. I think he brushed by Nick. Yeah, Martin skipped Nick. Slight crack of a smile there. That's great. Yeah, Martin, get over it, dude. You know, he is the least professional bodybuilder in existence right now. You guys can quote me on that. Martin Fitzwater, the least professional bodybuilder, okay? I just don't like the guy's attitude. You know, he showed up better here at finals, putting the attitude aside. He showed up better here at finals than he did at the prejudging, and that's ultimately what landed him in that 4th place spot. 3rd place is going to be Hadi Chupin in 3rd place. Hadi Chupin taking 3rd place, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. Wow. Wow. Phil Heath very vocal about disagreeing with this call. I think Hadi is shocked. I think Hadi is absolutely shocked. You guys, it had to be the prejudging that set Hadi back so far. That must have been the difference. And Hadi was very off at prejudging. Did come in, I think, the most improved when it came to the finals. But I didn't think it was that big of a difference that Hadi would end up in 3rd place. 3rd place. 2nd place. 2nd place is being awarded by Ronnie Coleman. Guys, what is happening right now in the bodybuilding world with Hadi Chupin taking 3rd place? It has to come down to prejudging. It 100% must have come down to the prejudging, you guys. But now, question is, who's going to be 2nd? And the 2nd place award goes to Nick Walker. Takes 2nd place, ladies and gentlemen, finishing behind Andrew Jack at the 2026 Arnold Classic, when many people had Nick Walker winning this show, finishing in 2nd place with one of the best physiques that we've seen of Nick Walker in, I think, a couple of years. I think that Nick Walker had serious arguments in order to take home the win here. I am very surprised that Andrew is taking home the win here over this version of Nick Walker and Hadi Chupin for that matter. But clearly, the aesthetics of Andrew Jacked gave him that path to victory that we were speaking about before, where he does not need to be the most shredded guy on stage, but his genetic gifts gave him this award on this Arnold Classic stage. The guy that's taking home the $750,000 check, Andrew Jacked, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. This is incredible. Bill Heath is very much in disagreement with these decisions. Bill Heath really is not understanding why the top 3 placed the way that they did. And you guys are going absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts in the comments section. Wow, I can't even keep up right now. Andrew Jack is your 2026 Arnold Classic champion. Hitting the back double, a little bit unconventional. Well, there's other camera people. Okay, I see now. Wow. Andrew Jacked taking home the win. And Nick defeating Hadi Chupin. Ladies and gentlemen, this is history in the making. And I'm seeing the comments coming in now. Robbery. A lot of Nick fans out there. A lot of people expected Nick to take this one home after what we saw at prejudging, myself included. But again, the genetic gifts of Andrew Jacked, I think we saw this very distinct path to victory. Andrew wasn't the most shredded guy on stage, but he was easily the most shapely guy on stage. However, when it comes down to the mandatory poses, I thought it was going to be Nick. I really did. Arnold asking him how much training he had to do to get to this point. Andrew thanking the entire crowd for being here. Black Patron saying it has to be the midsection, man. There's a reason I mentioned he let it go too much during transitions when they swap places. I hope we get to hear from Big Steve or from Tyler Mannion. I hope there's a recap of this show because I will definitely be doing a recap myself based on their comments. The judges must be on crack. This is a shocker. This is kind of a shocking. Result. You know, Nick not winning. I don't think a lot of people are shocked at that. But Nick defeating Hadi, wow. You know, wow, incredible. No one can understand why the top three is the way it is. Nick should win, but Hadi should have it at minimum gotten second. I agree. I had Andrew in third. Cito was so confident in him, he knew beforehand. I don't know about that. Here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Jacked is your 2026 Arnold Classic champion. I've heard from you guys a little bit. Let's hear some more. What do you guys think of this decision? Did Andrew Jack deserve to take home the victory? Do you think that Nick Walker or Hadi Chupin should have taken the victory over Andrew Jack? Where did you actually have Andrew Jack before the awards? Wow. Wow. Derek winning the Olympia was more shocking. Yeah, I agree. I was shocked when Derek won the Olympia. Yep, I do agree with that. Yep, that was it, when Derek won the Olympia. You're right. That was shocking. IFBB won big time. Andrew's not even a really great ambassador for the sport when it comes right down to it. I mean, he does do some traveling around and things like that, but I mean, nothing like you see some guys do. Do we think politics played a role in this placing? Well, I know what you're going to see. A number of people say, I think for sure, you're definitely going to have those opinions out there. Yeah, Freedom Fighter 17. It must be politics. Kalen 445. I had Nick first, Andrew second, Hadi third. Okay. Nick was only better in the hamstrings. That's it. Andrew was better or was even or better everywhere else. When you go shot for shot, I think Nick won more shots personally. Nick here looked better than Derek at the Olympia. I agree with that. You keep seeing Nick defeating Hadi, but do you see Nick in first? I personally did see Nick in first. I thought Nick was going to win this show. Elliot Roberts 3998. Andrew has the most aesthetic physique. Plus, he's 6'2", no brainer. Sorry, Andrew won. Nick Walker does not look aesthetic. He's just massive. You have to be a complete package. Well, that's what it comes right down to, I think. Is again, Andrew Jack just being the shapely bodybuilder that he is, put him up and over the top here, I think, is what it came down to. Yeah, it looks like Seth is going to need those answers. Yeah, Seth Ferosi was very confident in Nick. Very confident. I have said it before, though. I do feel like the Arnold is judged just a little bit differently as compared to other shows. I think that there is an emphasis on aesthetics. And I think that we saw that here tonight. I do think that we saw that here tonight. So the top three picks, one top three. Internet must be politics. Yeah, I mean, look, you're going to have that conversation going around after every show almost, right? But I am surprised. I'm not shocked, but I really did think that Nick was going to win. I thought that he did enough at prejudging to put himself ahead of the pack, and I thought he did enough tonight, especially based on where the judges were placing him. I always trust Gannicus. They were always at the show. If they say tomorrow is the right decision, then I'm happy. Fair enough. We'll watch for that. Nick fucking won. Yeah. I really feel like he did. Very interesting placings to say the least. But regardless, we do have our champion crowned. It is Andrew Jack taking home the 2026 Arnold Classic title. Nick Walker taking home the second place trophy. And Hadi Chupin, who was absolutely shocked at his placing, taking home third place. We also had Martin Fitzwater taking fourth and Brandon Curry in fifth place. Rafael Brandao taking sixth place in this lineup, ladies and gentlemen. Want to hear from you guys? Let's hear it in the comments section. We've got a lot of comments coming in. I'll see what I can do. Andrew's the most complete bodybuilder. He was the most complete on that stage, I feel. Hadi, there's an argument for that. I mean, let's be honest, guys. There's nothing stopping Nick from improving his midsection. There's things that he can do. No, Hunter improved his, so I think Nick can. If Nick wanted to bring a tighter waist, he could. There's things he can do. Call Charles Griffin, man. He'll help you. Honestly, call Charles Griffin. The Arnold got it right. Aaron Crosby 4428. Wes and Andrew, if we want to scream politics, look at the Mr. Olympia. Clearly an upset by Andrew taking this one. Absolutely, yeah, I think so. Like I said, surprised, but I'm not shocked. You know, I'm not shocked by any stretch. This is a testament that Nick won't win against top three, even if he's 100% on. Well, it does show that Nick does have a path to victory, I think. You know, we've always said that Nick coming in 100% and everybody else just being a little bit off. If this was a one-day show, I think Nick Walker would be the winner. If the Arnold Classic was a one-day show, yesterday, Nick Walker would have been taking home that title. Wow. Third place for Hadi is the biggest shock, I think. I think that we're used to seeing Andrew taking some of these spots, you know, like third place, fourth place kind of thing. Seeing him take home the win against these top guys. Unexpected. Not unexpected. I mean, I'm not like I said. Based on what we saw, I'm surprised, but I'm not shocked. Not by any stretch. Nick's midsection did him in plain and simple. That's probably what it comes down to, yeah. That is just not the most shapely bodybuilder. That definitely plays a big part. Well, if synthol is king and it's what wins, better start using. Yeah, I'm sure that we'll see the videos coming out on that. I don't see Nick wearing a girl's waist trainer 20 hours a day. I see bodybuilders do whatever they need to do in order to improve on their physique and in order to win these bigger competitions. I mean, keep in mind, for $750,000 as a potential, these guys will literally eat glass, dude. Okay? $750,000. They'll find a way. How can you be better than someone when you don't even have a striated glute or hamstring or shoulders that are all filled up like his arms with oil? A lot of people give Andrew a very hard time about, potential synthol SEO use. Man, the guy just won. Like, are the judges seeing something that we haven't? Jack say EP0. Thanks, sir. I've been here both days. 3-3. Oh, I know you were here. Yeah, I know you were here. Thank you very much for being here as well. I appreciate all of you guys being in this stream with me. Really appreciate all you guys being. Like I said, you guys, I am back. EP09 is back on YouTube. We have a new logo. We have a new layout. And you guys, we're going to have new interviews with news videos. Like, we're going back in full tilt, okay? Very glad to be able to come back for this Arnold Classic. Very, very surprising results for me. Like I said, I really thought Nick did enough in order to take home the win. But the placings yet again, we have Andrew Jack taking home the win. Nick Walker in second place, Hadi Chupin in third, Martin Fitzwater in fourth. We had Brandon Curry in fifth, and we had Rafael Brandao taking sixth place. That is your Arnold Classic 2026 final decisions in Men's Open. Black Patron saying people are just parroting the things they hear from Even. There really isn't any evidence to Andrew using synthol. I don't think it's as prevalent as what other people may think, but suspect? I mean, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I think a little bit suspect. Yeah, I do agree with that. All right, let's hear what you guys have to say in the comments because I know that there's a lot of very strong opinions out there right now. Very strong opinions. Judges got it right. The best looking guy won. That's what I'm saying. Most of these guys are full of synthol. They stay the same shape and size every year. All the shots are 8 or higher, bro. He's complete. Yeah, there's conversations within the chat. I'm just trying to keep up. Nick is not only one that grows, but unfortunately, so does his waist. Yeah, that is unfortunate for Nick. Joey Benko says, no one else covers bodybuilding like you, man. For that, we thank you. Well, I appreciate all you guys being here. Thank you very much for being here on EP09 Bodybuilding. Look, the placings being what they are, this was a very exciting weekend for bodybuilding. Okay, very exciting. We had some of the top competitors in the world. We saw what was a complete turnaround from some of these guys in the finals. We saw some battles on stage. This was a very, very excellent show. I'm very glad that I got to cover this one for you guys. Last year, Friday morning, I got a call about, for those of you guys that don't know, I also run a commercial diving company. And I got a call from a boat that burned at the dock, sank, and had to be salvaged. It was a mess. But when emergency calls come in, you got to go. So I actually didn't get to cover the Arnold Sports Festival last year. This year, ended up getting through the whole thing with you guys, and I am so happy that I didn't miss this one. This was an unbelievable show. Unbelievable show. Jack say, you should have a talk with Even to not go so hard on synthol. A little is fine, but it's disrespectful if he says too much. Look, man, he's going to run his channel the way that he runs his channel, and I'm going to do the same thing on mine. Yeah, Even can do his thing. Arnold had Andrew win because he didn't want to look racist. Yeah, I don't think so. Arnold's an immigrant himself, man. Come on. Give it up for EP. Thank you very much, Joey Benko. Thank you very much for being here. Really appreciate it. All you guys, Black Patron, appreciate you again being a moderator in this chat, brother. Doing an excellent job. Really appreciate it. Andrew hurt a lot of people by winning, even though only his hamstrings were lacking. Overall conditioning, I think, is something that Andrew just generally needs to work on. I think so. Will I stream all of the big shows this year? I'm planning on it. Yep, I am planning on it. So I've got a plan to make sure that we can do it right, and I'm going to be working on that for sure. Mike the Bike Dasher. I was working out, so I missed the placings. I'll give it to you one more time. Andrew Jackson first, Nick Walker in second. We had Hadi Chupin in a very surprising third place. Fourth place had Martin Fitzwater. Fifth place, we had Brandon Curry. And in sixth place, we had Rafael Brandau. That is your 2026 Arnold Classic lineup. Yeah, Black Patron, listen, you always keep it real, brother, and I really appreciate that. I really, really enjoy your perspectives in bodybuilding, and thanks for being here, being a moderator, and this is why I love to do this shit, you guys. To be able to have conversations with all you guys in the bodybuilding space. This is literally why I started my channel. You OGs of the channel, you know that. So thank you guys for being here, getting involved, putting in your votes on the polls. Getting into the chat, this is what it's all about. So you guys can expect some upcoming bodybuilding breakdown podcasts. Excuse me. Coming up here soon. I think that you guys will be able to expect more news videos. We're gonna get back into full tilt here on EP09. Jeff Engel 8795. Thank you for being here the last couple of days, brother. Much love and need to run. Thank you. I appreciate you very much, as I do everybody. Hadi can't hide the lumps in his delts. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's it's getting to a point with Hadi Chupin where I don't think we're going to start seeing substantially better versions of Hadi. I think that we're going to continue to see good versions of Hadi, but I don't think that we're going to see, these substantial versions of Hadi moving forward. I think that maybe his best is kind of behind him. You know, I still think he's very competitive, and I think that he will be a Mr. Olympia contender this year. But within the next year or two, you might start seeing Hadi Chupin start to drop off a bit. Now, he had a lot of stress going into this show as well. An entire country that essentially turned on him. That can be a factor. That can be a factor. Losing his sponsor, his coach, longtime coach, all play a part. But again, it's going to be a very exciting Olympia. This show sets the tone for the entire bodybuilding season. Next up, we're going to have the Detroit Pro. That's always going to, Fuad does an excellent job with that show. We're going to have a very, very good show when it comes to the Detroit Pro. We'll see about coverage for that as well. But again, you guys, really enjoyed being here and you guys getting into the chat. Really enjoyed all you guys, getting involved. And I appreciate everybody that is, OGs of the channel as well as new subscribers. Thank you guys all for being here. This is what we do on EP09. We cover pro bodybuilding and we don't hold anything back. But at the same time, look, healthy respect for everyone that steps on that stage, okay? Every single competitor has my respect, without question. Martin's got to suck it up a bit, though. You're a public figure. It's what's going to happen. It can't hide the bubble, guys. I didn't see one complete package, if you know what I mean. I don't know if I know what you mean. Maybe. Probably. Hadi is still better than Nick, says Raw Dog. Okay. So now we're starting to get into it a bit. Hadi is still better than Nick. Is he actually better than Nick? Based on what we saw here? Interested to know your guys' opinion. Yeah, certainly interested. Just taking a look around the bodybuilding space for initial reactions. There's still a lot to take in, I think, when it comes to this. Will they all three be at the Olympia? I would say so. Would it be able for Nick to lose weight and then rebuild his midsection, or is that not possible? No, there's things that Nick could do for his midsection. There's things that he could do. We saw Rolly Winkler improve his midsection. We saw Charles Griffin improve his midsection. We saw Hunter Labrada improve his midsection. So, it can happen. It's just a matter of making the decision to concentrate on it. That's the decision that Nick is going to have to make moving forward. If Nick could improve his midsection, I don't even know if he would have to lose weight. If he could just keep doing what he's doing and concentrate on the midsection a bit more, I think there's a very good possibility that Nick could improve the midsection and thus improve his chances of taking home that Olympia title that he's wanted for, since he started competing as a pro. What was it, 2020, 2021? You got to remember, Nick Walker placed 5th at his first Olympia, arguably 4th, 3rd at his second Olympia. He's still going strong. Okay, final thoughts, and we're going to wrap up the stream, you guys. Get your final thoughts in the chat, and we're going to wrap it up. Top 3 guys are apples and oranges. Personal preference differ. Hadi got his conditioning a little bit depleted in prejudging. He lost pop, but he improved at the finals. But the gap is huge. Nick's physique is regressing on stage from the first time he came out of prejudging. No, I don't think that's true about Nick coming out of prejudging like that. No, I don't think so. I think that I think Nick was clearly, clearly the best at prejudging. But we'll see what the judges have to say about that. This is such a better look for bodybuilding. It looks horrible if someone like Nick wins. Look, at the end of the day, I do think that it's a muscle contest, and if the rest of the guys show up off and there's a legitimate path to victory for Nick, then I'm not opposed to it. That wasn't the case here, but it is what it is. So, okay, we're gonna wrap up the stream right here, you guys. Again, I appreciate everybody stopping by the stream. Thank you for tuning into EP09 Bodybuilding. I hope you guys enjoyed my coverage of the Arnold Classic all this weekend. I really enjoyed bringing all this coverage to you guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Next show that comes around, we will do it all again. But stay tuned for upcoming podcasts with the bodybuilding breakdown. Stay tuned for upcoming news videos. You guys, we are going back full tilt. So again, thank you guys for tuning into EP09.